This dude is something else. Very inspirational, very smart, open-minded fella. This is Zaid. He owns Pirate's Bone Burger. Uh, and he has an incredible story of. I mean, we get towards that to the end of his journey of opening this restaurant, this vegan restaurant that he has in the Crossroads of Kansas City. But beforehand, he's also kind of like a political activist type guy. I don't know anything about DACA, and he schooled me a little bit on that, so we had a nice conversation there. As you guys are all well aware, I am a bow hunter, and he is a vegan. So we kind of touched on a little bit of that. He's not against hunting. He's more of against, like I think most people are, kind of big farm. And he just doesn't want animals eaten, basically. And I love animals. I love to eat animals. So we had this was a really interesting, fun conversation. And this is the type of conversation that can't be figured out in just 2 hours. But it's a good start. And, people need more of these. I'm very fortunate enough to have this podcast to where I can sit down and have meaningful, intelligent conversations about this kind of stuff. And I think we just need more discourse like this in our lives and in society, basically. And it's really cool that we can kind of disagree on things and still have a really good, productive conversation. And man, if you guys hear this story and you don't support him, you're just kind of a dick. Like, go down and buy a burger from this man. Really, really good dude. Really just, I don't need to say anything more. You guys will figure it out when you hear it. Thank you guys for listening. Episode number 88, I think this will be. And, hey, follow him on social media. Check his website out. And that's all I got to say, guys. Enjoy this episode. This was a really, really, this is the kind of conversation I just enjoy having on the podcast. Love you guys.
Welcome to the Inner Talk Podcast. We'll no topic is off limits. Now here's your host, my daddy, and Roy the Soul. Oh wait, one more thing for me. Thank you for coming to the Inner Talk Podcast. Boom, swat, boom.
All right, we'll start this thing up here. You ready? In 3, 2, are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
Definitely.
Excellent. 3, 2, 1, boom, shalak, boom. Here we go. Zaid from Pirate's Bone Burgers. Burgers. Got all kinds of burgers.
Yeah.
I'm excited to have you here, man.
Thank you.
I've been wanting to do this. Been wanting to do this one for a while. I had Danielle from Open Belly on.
Great friend.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah.
I like her a lot. And we got talking about all kinds of things. And I think we're talking about meat, of course. And you're a vegetarian?
A vegan.
Vegan.
Yeah, I'm fully vegan.
And I'm a hunter.
Yeah.
And I obviously eat the meat. And so she's like, you guys should talk. You guys probably have an interesting conversation about that shit. I'd love to hear that.
Yeah. No, I think it's interesting, and I think people should have these conversations. She mentioned it, and she said, like, oh, I think he said he'll have you eating meat by the end of it.
Oh, I was joking around. I said I'm going to have him walking out of here with a pocket full of bacon.
Which I thought it was funny. I've been in the industry for a while, in the food industry for a while. I also been a butcher. So, like, I know, and I was just talking about this at breakfast. I was like, I know, like, from the minute it gets to the restaurant and before to the minute it gets served on a plate, whatever it might be. So this is going to be a real interesting conversation, because there's not a lot, like, if I didn't know all those things, there might be like a chance that I'm like, oh, well, I didn't know that. Yeah, I guess I could eat a meat, piece of meat. But since I have done all of it in the process, besides the hunting, I haven't done the hunting at all. But after it's hunted, I've done all those things. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of things I'd like to talk to you about. You're an interesting fella. I see you on Instagram and saw your posts. I think you went down to Washington, D.C. a few months ago for DACA or something like that?
Yeah. So we were at the let me get my thoughts straight. We were fighting definitely DACA. We were fighting the Trump presidency for trying to end DACA. So we were at this Grand Supreme Court. Yeah.
What exactly is DACA for those that don't?
DACA is deferred action against childhood arrival. So any child that came in under the age of 15 is able to be enrolled or like possibly have DACA.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple things that might stop you from having it. But the main thing is that you have to be under 15 before you came into the States. No actual criminal record at all. You had to graduate high school or be in college. And it just gives you a permit to work in the States for the amount of 2 years every renewal.
You have to renew it every 2 years?
You have to renew it every 2 years.
Is that a pain in the ass to renew?
It can be. Right now they're saying that if they do continue it, it'll go a little higher on the price.
You have to pay for it.
You have to pay for it as well.
Oh.
So that's one of the main things.
Well, that's kind of ridiculous.
Well, it's
right?
fine. At the end of the day, it's fine because one of the biggest things that people had, especially right-wing folks had, was that they didn't want to pay anything for anyone who wasn't born here.
Right.
Get it. Fine. The whole program is run by our fees. Mm-hmm. And then the leftovers are added to the economy. And then you add taxes and everything else that we start to pay.
Sure.
Then it builds up. It's a huge part of the economy. I mean, immigration in general gives a lot to the economy.
Oh, for sure.
People are bound to feel a difference if there is like a hard, tight, negative immigration reform.
Mm-hmm. So once you're 15, every 2 years you have to do?
Every 2 years you have to do it. And then you have to file beforehand. So you can't just file that, on the second. So you have to file, I think they encourage you to file 150 days beforehand.
Oh, yeah.
In order to know that you're going to receive it. Because then if you
don't. Like every year and a half, you basically have to do it.
Yeah. So I need to file mine pretty soon because it does.
You have to do. How old are you?
Pretty soon. 31.
So you've been doing it for what, 15 years?
No. So this just started.
Oh,
DACA just started not too long ago. It started in 2012. It's not been all this time. No.
Oh, okay.
No. Yeah, this is just the first time that we're able to be working legally. Yeah. So we're able to travel, have a driver's license, get credit. So we get a social security number, and we're able
basically a regular citizen, but
basically,
you're doing everything a U.S. citizen.
We're doing everything the U.S. citizen, should do, except we don't get all the privileges.
Okay, what don't you get?
Everything pretty much. I mean, we can. Yeah. So
what do you mean? Can you vote?
No, not at all. So all we can do is get a permit to work, a social security, and a driver's license. So imagine your
bank
whole
account?
life.
Oh, you can do.
I mean, yeah, but that's not like federal.
Okay.
But that's mainly the things that we have. So we can't travel outside. We don't get a visa, so we can't travel outside of the U.S.
You can't?
No. So we can travel outside, but we can't come back.
You can't even go to. You can't go anywhere.
I
mean, can you go to Mexico?
No, not at all. No, different country. So I can go to like territories.
Okay.
So I can go to Puerto Rico, but now that's iffy. Even last year, my attorney told me or recommended me not to go out to Puerto Rico. It's just iffy.
Huh.
It's very iffy. Rules that you'll never encounter, especially with like Homeland Security and everything like that. ICE, all those things that you'll never even have to blink an eye on, are so sketchy, and they are above your regular law enforcement. They have so much more power, and they're not overseen as much.
Okay.
So therefore, they shouldn't have that much power, but because they're not overseen by somebody else, they have free power to
I
do a
gotcha.
lot of things, and it gets very sketchy.
Yeah.
It crosses a lot of human rights laws, but again, because they don't have a lot of people overseeing it, it can become very iffy.
A little wild, wild west action going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's they're like holding you hostage, though. Like they're holding you hostage with it not giving you everything you want. Like, it's interesting.
So we've been fighting for this. Technically, we've been fighting for the Dream Act, which would give us a pathway to citizenship.
So there's no, you don't have a pathway.
Oh no. Yeah, there's nothing, like zero.
So if your kids brought you, if your parents brought you here at how long ago? 2012.
No, 2012 is when DACA started.
Right.
Yeah. So I was brought here when I was 11, and it was 1999.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you're basically.
I've been here for 20 plus years. Yeah.
Yeah, you're more American.
I know a lot more about American history and culture than Mexican.
Wow.
Yes, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, because you're not able to go back.
No, and I would love to. Obviously, learn more, know more, travel more.
What happens if you go back?
I can't come back.
You can't get a visa back in or something?
No, I would not be able to.
Huh.
Yeah.
Why not? Or there wouldn't be like
because I am in the system. I have been to school. Like they know that I've lived here.
So you're stuck.
Technically, yes. Basically, because a lot of people have this confusion.
Well, it's kind of fucked up,
go
man.
back, and it's like, well, if it was that clear of a message, and if you could just like,
go back so you can then do it the legal way, I guess, or the
kind of
whatever the way they want you to do it.
Yeah.
But they won't let you do that.
No, but you can't do that. Like getting a visa just means you can travel, in and out. But because I've been here, they won't give me one.
Wow.
Even though, and the thing that we're fighting is, we didn't have the option for this.
Right.
We were kids.
You're 9.
Like, let's open up a pathway to those people who were able to, who were brought here, just period.
Right.
And let's open a pathway to citizenship. We've been here all this time. We contribute to the economy. We've done our society needs, or we're doing it. So, like, let's open that up. But we're still fighting it.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, right
I'm
now
really
it's
ignorant
at the
on this,
Supreme Court.
clearly.
So we're waiting for their decision, which doesn't look good because it's a very Republican Supreme Court right now. And it's just never in the good odds. So we'll see by the spring and summer. They'll definitely have a decision made. And then we'll have to file lawsuits and do all these other activist stuff to work around that.
If they do away with it,
if they shut down,
they're gonna. Yeah. So that's in the Supreme Court right now. When's that vote?
So we already had the court. That's why I was in Washington.
Okay.
And then the vote comes in around spring and summer. They don't actually give you like a date.
Okay.
That's the Supreme Court.
What are the arguments against it? Why would they end it?
Well, they're saying that Obama, and I don't want to go into legality, only because I am not a lawyer, and therefore anything I say is just personal. And again, like,
yeah, you're just talking to me and schooling me, man.
Yeah,
give me what you're telling me. Just I know nothing.
Yeah.
I don't pay attention to a whole lot of political stuff.
Well, and that's what I was just saying right now. Like, I have some power, I have a platform, but also I'm very aware, because I do a lot of the activist work. We are taught, like, hey, if you're ever in this type of conversation, let people know that you are not, and then we're able to skip some questions, because I could tell you something that's just like engraved in my brain, and it's not actual facts. Okay. Because I don't do the legal part of things. But they're just saying that it wasn't, that Obama didn't have the power to bring DACA. Okay. That's the biggest thing that they're saying. Okay. So they're just trying to shut it down. That's the president's right now, our current president.
Can they say he didn't have the power, but it's still a good program and we want to keep it?
That's kind of what we're fighting. Yeah. Okay. That's kind of what we're fighting. And then,
but kind of seems hard for them to fight against. I mean,
you would think.
I mean, it seems kind of common sense.
When you have a good lawyer, I mean, we've had people that are truly guilty come out free. So if you have a good lawyer, and Trump and the presidency, they have, I mean,
But it's not up to
abundance
him,
of
though. It's up to the
lawyers.
Supreme Court, right?
It's up to the Supreme Court, which
Okay.
he's picked one of them.
Well, he's
for
picked one,
sure.
but I don't know. The Supreme Court,
It could go either way right now.
I don't know. I trust the Supreme Court more than I trust certainly Trump.
Definitely. But we have to remember we're all people. So therefore, even the Supreme Court is a person, like a group of people who
Yeah.
have different beliefs and their personal beliefs.
Yeah.
And that's what it's going to land on.
So when you guys were doing the protest, or I don't know if it was a protest. That's probably the wrong word, but whatever. What would you call it? Is it a protest? What were you guys
No,
doing?
that one we weren't protesting.
Okay.
That one we were just there to show like our support for
Okay.
this and how many people are being affected or are going to be affected by it.
When you do that, who are you trying to reach? The Supreme Court?
There you're trying to reach the Supreme Court.
You're hoping they walk by and hear you and see you?
Not even
or-
walk by. I mean, there were thousands of people. So, and then it's just one building, so they can see you for sure.
Okay.
But you want to let them know that, hey, this is because, see, if you bring something to the Supreme Court and then no one shows up and there's no interest in changing it, why would someone say, oh, yeah, that's something someone cares about?
Yeah.
So you still have the power as people, and that's power to the people. That's the whole thing behind it. You have to show that this is something that is important to somebody. And if not, then why would even the Supreme Court, think it's important to do or change or whatever?
Okay.
So, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I always wondered why.
We have so much power as people, and we forget because we're told that our one voice doesn't matter. But then when you have thousands of people that believe the same thing, that's when you have that big power to make changes.
Right. Your one
Yeah.
voice becomes much stronger with
Yeah.
a bunch more one voices.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's their argument against it, though? Like, why? Just because Obama did it because, Obama didn't have the power to do it, so that's why? Surely they have more of an argument than just that.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Is the
that's the part that I'm like,
I guess I would think, the only argument that I would think that would come to mind is if they kept this going, it would incentivize more parents to bring kids over here. And they're
but they can't.
What do you mean they can't?
There was a cutoff.
What do you mean? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So only people.
So no one over there can sneak over, right? Like
No,
get a coyote or whatever to get over with their babies and then have their babies be in the DACA.
No, that's
Okay.
not a thing. Yeah.
Well, that would be the only argument against it, where I would think that would be their argument.
Well, a biggest argument towards it would be racism.
Okay.
We forget about that. It's highly embedded in this country, and we forget that it.
Well, it's probably in every country, man.
Yes, but
Let's not pretend. It's every country. Human beings are racists.
We're not racist. We're taught to be racist.
Everywhere there's racism. I don't mean individually.
But that's the thing, though.
But every country has racism. Every country.
Every country has racism, yes. But racism isn't natural. We are taught to be racist.
Yeah.
And this country has a huge one, like a huge issue with racism. A lot of countries have had racism, and they have worked a lot better with it, and they have progressed more than we have as a whole. Slave trade, huge.
Yeah,
We
still
did it way
going
after. We did it way after a lot of other countries.
There's a lot of countries doing it right
Legally.
now. You can watch a slave be bought right now on YouTube.
And it doesn't make it any better that
No,
anyone
it's
else-
horrible. It's
it doesn't make it
insane.
any better.
It's
that
insane. It's
another country does
2020.
it. Yeah.
I'm not saying it is.
No. Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm just saying that it's insane. That kind of shit's crazy that it's 2020. The world's a weird place, man.
It's such a weird place, and I think we need to do better.
Oh, for sure.
I was gonna say I think we do little, but no, that's not the right way to say it. I think we need to do better in our own world and in our own communities, and it's like funny as it sounds. Again, we go back to like one person's viewpoint can just become a little snowball, and then that snowball becomes an avalanche.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we need to do better about a lot of things.
Any better parenting is what it boils down to. That's where it comes from.
It does
You know,
in history.
if you're, I don't know how you become a member of a white nationalist group without having some kind of family member drilling that seed into you at a young age. You know what I mean? Like, how else do you live this day and age with the internet, having everything out there, and still being like, I mean, they just had a white nationalist rally in Washington, and the cops were like, doing what they had to do. They had to protect them, but like escort them.
Yeah.
Besides that fact that there still are like white nationalists, it's like that has to come from like indoctrination from your parents.
Well,
like,
I wouldn't put it just in the parenting, because we can get someone in a fragile state or like a young age, and then just build their brain. Even the internet, just with the internet itself, never mind the parents, the internet can do wonders.
You're right.
So
incels.
Yeah. So we're very vulnerable to change, and the thing is, we should be more vulnerable to good change than bad change.
Right.
Just in general, because it would leave you with a greater life. Period. So if you think about like a white nationalist, someone who thinks their race is better or like this or that, and there is hate between every single thought that goes into it.
Oh yeah.
So imagine if you
ignorance.
just like lose
ignorance
that.
and hate.
If you lose that, your life would be so much less stressful. I mean, you would live such a better life. There's a bunch of people who are wonderful that you could talk to now, like if you don't have that that racism mindset. I don't see it. I don't know why we would continue this negative like life for so long.
I don't understand it. I don't like it. When I find it, I just rid myself of it. Like, I don't hang out with that kind of mentality. Like, I don't like those people.
I haven't been around it, obviously, because I'm brown. But I can't imagine to like be in your shoes as a white man and then like go into a talk, because it would feel, I think, and I might be truly wrong, but a white man walking into a white nationalist like meeting wouldn't
God.
like.
I'd be scared to death, dude.
Like I would feel scary,
scared.
but then it would also like everyone looks like you, so it also in a way would be someone easy to fall into it, because
for a dummy.
Well, for somebody in a very dominant like in a weird place, you'd be like, oh yeah, this is my bud, because they're all gonna be nice to you,
right?
They're not gonna be mean to you. They're trying to get you in because you're white. So
right.
You might fall. I can see why it would be falling into it.
I guess, easy. Man, I don't know if it'd be easy. I think. Like, at what age? Like, golly, I don't know. I don't know.
I think at any age.
I don't know. At any, golly. I don't know. I can't wrap my head around it. The person that's an adult past, I don't know, say 25 after your cortex is fully formed. I can't imagine a 28-year-old going into some bar and then all of a sudden getting talked into.
Yeah.
Hey, join us.
Well, you have the president who, like, we won't go into much, that stuff.
Yeah.
But we have the president who is very open to pretty much saying that it's a choice, and that it's okay that all these things that they do, white nationalists do, are okay. I mean, he hasn't condemned any of them.
I've seen him condemn them. He said some, I don't know, there was some.
He said some like, oh yeah,
he condemned the I don't know, Nazi party or whatever the hell. Who knows? I don't know.
Well, I hope he condemns the Nazi party, because like
he has to.
I
right?
have something. I wrote down some notes, but it's like, yeah, you have to. How is there a way that we like humanely? How do we humanely think about? There's no way to humanely think about rape, or the Holocaust, or slavery, or killing anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But yet we still find ways to like kind of go around it and make it seem like it was bad, but there was like maybe not so bad parts about it.
Maybe he's just a glass is half full kind of guy, and he's just looking for any kind of positive out of any kind of negative. Turn a negative.
That's a little too much. We should definitely not look at negative things as glass half full.
No, I'm saying maybe he's trying to find something that had at least something. Maybe he's that kind of. I'm not saying look at that as it's half full. Maybe he's that personality, or anybody is that personality where they look at everything and try to find at least something positive about it.
That's a really bad way to be. I think if we're trying to find a good thing about slavery or the Holocaust,
I don't
or
think you
rape,
find any.
but we have though. But we have.
But I'm saying there's you can find good things during those times.
I don't think we could. Not about
sure
those
you could.
things. Not about rape. Not about the
Not
Holocaust.
about rape.
Not about slavery.
Not about the Holocaust.
But see,
But
that's
during
the thing,
that
though.
time, whenever that was, in the 1940s, right? 1930s, late 30s, whenever it was. Like I said, I mean, there had to have been in that time period something good, right?
Well, in that time period, but about specifically, we shouldn't try to find, like right now, we shouldn't try to find like a good thing around the Holocaust or slavery. We should just say,
for
yes,
sure.
bad,
It sucked. It's the worst
period.
thing. Sure, it's horrible.
And that's it. Like
It's
we
horrible.
should just close that instead of trying to find something good around it. We should just say, yeah, horrible, period, done.
But I'm saying maybe there's those people that's just how they think.
Oh,
like,
no, we
there's
shouldn't
got to
have
be
those.
there's got to be something positive in there. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I know it's horrible.
That's as much as we should know, and you
Yeah.
know, we should just stick to that. Be like, that was horrible,
It's horrible.
and then we should never do it again.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But the bad thing is we're not too far from making those mistakes in any given day.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. That's why I don't hang around racists.
Thankfully.
Yeah, I don't understand that mindset. I've moved around. I lived all over the country growing up. I was a military brat, and I lived in the north and in the south, and there is a big difference.
Oh man,
There is a big difference.
in the South.
Confederate flags everywhere, and yeah, this was in the 90s.
Damn, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I driven in the 2000s in South and Deep South. There's a lot of places that got me a little spooked out.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I want to go in there.
Yep.
Especially because I was like the only brown person involved in that party, so I was like, just like, it's scary when you're not white. Let me tell you that.
Yeah.
And it's something that you'll never feel or understand. Same thing with like police. It's scary when you get pulled over.
Oh, don't tell me I can't understand that. I can understand. Trust me, I've been in situations where I can understand a similar situation. I was a young man that was not always abiding by the law, and I guarantee you the same feeling I get when a cop pulls behind me is the same feeling you get.
I'm gonna say no, only
Are you
because the
kidding
skin
me?
color. It's a big one. It's a
Man.
big one. Don't fight it. Don't fight it. I'm telling you, don't fight it. It is. It's totally different. It's totally different.
Maybe, but I'll get the same kind of reaction in my gut that you get.
Same
promise
reaction,
you.
sure.
Like what I'm saying, the stress level I would get would be the same stress level you would get.
You know what? And that's a personal thing, so I won't even fight it. And you have the right, to it. But let's just say statistically, totally different, like outcomes.
Look, man, when you're hauling enough drugs, it's going to put you to prison for the rest of your life. Your stomach's dropping.
I mean, yeah, like
to
I
your
said,
feet when a cop pulls
like
behind
personal
you.
feelings, yeah, totally.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's those situations where I can kind of understand that fear.
Nobody
likes it. Nobody wants to get pulled over by a cop.
But see, with having drugs, sure, I've been pulled over and had that same feeling with no having drugs.
Right.
With like, I mean, I got pulled over like 2 weeks ago for going through a yellow light, and I was about to shit my pants because the police brutality in this country is really bad towards people of color. And that's what I meant. That's a fear that you won't know how it feels.
Sure.
Because I knew I didn't run a red light. I didn't speed to run that yellow light, but I was still pulled over.
Mm-hmm.
And the cop was a dick about it too. Because I was like, oh, wait, what did I do? And he was like, you ran a red light. I was watching you. And I was like, I'm like pretty sure in the middle of the street, I looked up and it was still yellow. And he was like, it was totally red when you like passed the street. And I was like,
yeah.
I mean, but like, I don't have a choice or like a say in this because who's going to get, like, am I really going to fight this? No. Because there's a big chance that there's going to be police brutality and I don't want to lose my life over a fucking ticket.
Sure.
And that's the reality of it in this country. So I let it go. And it was really funny. I was on, like, he pulled me over, and every time that I've been pulled over, I've been told to not, like, the long pulling over. So just like stop as soon as you see the lights. Just stop, pull over wherever it is.
That's what I do.
And I was like, all right, fine. So I pulled over right where it was. And it was just at an entry for I-70. So when he gave me a ticket, he still had the light on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't see the cars coming.
Oh, sure.
And I was at the entrance. So there were people who were just like going into the entry right in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I flashed them and I was like, hey, can you turn off your light? Because I could not see at all. And then he came over after like a minute and he was like, what do you want? And I was like, oh, can you turn off your light? I can't see. He was like, there's no cars coming. You can go. And I was like,
there's no cars coming now.
Yeah. I was like, I can't see either way.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't see from my side view mirror or my rear view mirror because they were behind me. So I just had red and blue lights behind me. And then on the other one, I had that big, what is it called? Like a fog light or whatever spotlight. They have. Like a spotlight. Yeah, the spotlight. And it was right on my mirrors. I was like, don't be a dick. Like, just turn it off.
He's a dick.
Like, let me go. Like, I get it. I don't want to, like, I already got a ticket. I don't want to get hit.
You got a ticket for that?
I got a ticket for the yellow light.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, because he said it was a red light. And I was like, 95% sure. And a friend of mine was like, you're 95% sure? And I was like, yeah, because once he put that, like, question in my mind, I was never going to be right anyways. It wasn't going to matter.
Yeah.
Even if I was 100% right.
It didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't matter because I was already pulled over. And like I said, I'm super, super sure that I looked up in the middle of the street and it was still yellow.
Even if it was still red, even if it was red when you got in under it, that should be okay.
Yeah, that's the only thing. And I try not to though. I try to be a good driver, and I pick on a lot of friends for being bad drivers. So I try not to do that. I try to be super careful, especially with like my status and everything. Like I don't want to get pulled over, therefore I try not to get pulled over. Anyways, got the ticket anyways, and he was an asshole about it.
He's an asshole in general. What a dick.
Yeah.
Screw that guy. Go do I hate traffic cops. Go do your real job, man. I mean, go bust criminals. Don't bust me for running through a yellow light.
Yeah, and I would say, bust somebody who runs through like a red light, because I've seen so many.
Yeah, those guys piss me off. Those guys, I'm like, you are bold. Yeah. Bold move, sir.
Yeah. So, anyways, that was that day.
Yeah, well, don't get any more of those, huh? Yeah. Never hunted, huh?
Never hunted. Never actually held a gun.
Okay.
I've had a gun to my head. Never held one, though. So I stopped after that.
I like bow hunting.
Never had a bow. I thought it'd be like a cool thing to have like a bow or like an archery,
crossbow.
Or crossbow. I thought it'd be kind of cool to even just like coke cans or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Targets are great. It's fun. Archery is so... A lot of people use it for not even hunting. Just do it because it's so like therapeutic. You can really get in a zen zone and just
I have a friend, meditate. Or I had a friend who had one, and they're not as easy as you think.
Oh,
or
no.
as I thought.
Sure.
Because every movie makes it look pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something else. It's definitely an art form. Like it's a discipline. Yeah. It's not just any asshole can go out and shoot an animal with a gun.
Yeah.
Like you've never held a gun. I could take you out in a week next weekend. Like I could take all week, train you, and you could shoot a deer next week. No problem. Boom. Whereas that's like, there's no skill. There's no, I don't know. Anybody can do it. I'm not about that. I like to, with archery, I can only shoot. I don't like shooting over 40 yards. So if I'm shooting an animal, that's close. I really prefer 20 yards. And like you have to practice because the last thing you want to do is hurt an animal.
That's a funny one. Let's talk about that.
Wound. Or I want to kill a deer and I want that thing dead 15 seconds, 20 seconds at the most. Like bam, right through the heart and the lungs. Bam, it's going down. And it has no idea you were there. Like last few deer I've shot, they had no idea what happened. They're just walking along, and then all of a sudden an arrow goes through them. Boom, they fall asleep 20 yards away.
I don't think they fell asleep.
They fell asleep. It's the best death they could ever ask for, that's for sure.
I think I could counteract that thought.
Okay.
Best death they could ask for.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best death we could ask for would be just to die by like natural causes.
That doesn't happen in the wild. The only other thing that would have been better is if he got hit by a semi, just bam.
Well, I don't know. That I feel like that would hurt too. It doesn't happen in the wild, and it didn't happen in the wild because you got to it.
What do you mean?
Like you killed the deer.
Right.
Yeah. It wasn't. You weren't in the wild. You're not in the wild. You were just there for that day in the wild. So
right.
Naturally, it wouldn't have happened. Period. It would have just
not by me.
Yeah.
But naturally, do you know how these things die? I mean, you ever seen a video of coyotes or wolves eating these things?
Oh yeah. Totally.
I mean,
different,
that's. I mean,
it's a chain of life or the circle of life.
Well,
that's
exactly,
natural.
That's what I'm doing. I'm participating in that circle of life.
Kind of.
How
it's kind of cheating though.
How is it cheating?
Well, one, we don't need it. We don't need to hunt. I get it if it's a sport or however you want to look at it.
We certainly need to control the animal population.
Yeah, we don't have that big of an issue, to be honest.
Yes, we do. You know why we don't have that big of an issue? Because we control that issue. Hunters control the population.
We have a bigger issue in different animals.
Like what?
What do you mean? Like cows, chicken,
oh,
pork?
Sure.
Like that's a bigger issue.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and defend factory farming. Like I'm not going to.
It's part of what you're like. It's a little part of what you're doing anyways.
How so?
The consuming of the meat, the consuming of the animal.
Right, but that's an animal that I shot, killed, and butchered, and ate, and did everything myself. Fed family and friends with it.
But you haven't bought any chicken, eggs, or...
Oh, no, I still... Yeah, of course.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you're contributing to it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And, I mean, there's so many issues to animal agriculture. So... just because you shot a deer or keep an animal population doesn't mean that the rest doesn't happen or it keeps happening because you did this one deer. There's
no,
still
I'm,
like...
Oh,
you know,
yeah. But I can separate the facts. I mean, separate the actions. I mean, just because I do that doesn't mean I'm cool with the other aspects of the way they treat chickens and pigs.
Yeah.
For the most part, I mean, there are places you can get free-range chickens and more ethically raised animals.
So yeah, well, we have to dig into this a little bit.
Sure.
What's an ethical way to kill an animal?
Ethical way to kill an animal?
Ethical.
Straight as quickly as possible and painlessly as possible.
Well, that's not ethical though, because you're still killing an animal and you're still hurting an animal. There's no ethical way. Like, to the definition of ethically, there's no ethical way to kill an animal. There's no ethical way to kill somebody.
Well, it's a necessity.
It's not a necessity.
Okay. You think we can feed and forget about the world, but just this country without meat?
Oh, yeah, definitely, for sure. And it's not me. We have more animal agricultural land to feed animals than we would need for vegetables, to be honest. The waste of animals, just the CO2 contribution from it, and the amount of space that we waste on animal agriculture is just horrific. We have, I think, 8 cows per human in the world.
8 cows per human?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Like there's 8 cows for you.
Oh,
like
8
8
gotcha.
cows per human in the world. So we have an abundance of
For how long?
animals.
Like, how long do I have those 8 cows for? Is that for my whole life? I'm allowed.
No, right now. Like right now. No. Right
Okay.
now, we have 8 cows per human. In
Oh,
the
I
world.
see what
So
you're
we have
saying. Population-wise.
Population-wise,
okay.
we have a lot more animals than humans. And
Well,
we
that's
have
a
too
lot.
much.
I got 8 cows.
We have too much. That's the only thing. We have too much space that we're wasted.
Yeah, I can only eat like 1 a year, and that's a lot. That's like giving stuff away.
Yeah. You can eat a lot if you can eat a 600 or 800 pound cow.
God, you're right. That's just only eating that.
That's crazy. Never mind your health, blood pressure, heart disease, cancer, but the space that we waste on it, and this space that we waste on animal agriculture it just doesn't happen for free. We chop trees down for this.
Sure.
We chop the Amazon. I mean, we have huge issues in the Amazon because of this, because we're running out of space. So we went to the Amazon, chopped trees down, and put farming in Brazil.
Well, the farmers are doing that themselves down there, right?
We can't do that. No farmers chopping so many trees down.
No, they're burning it down.
Well, yeah, but they don't have.
That's what the farmers are doing down there.
It's not the farmers. They don't have that mean of power.
You sure? They don't.
I'm pretty sure
they don't have a torch. I think that's what
No.
it's doing. Is because they want to be able to grow shit.
No, I think if you look into who owns the farms, you would find out really that the farmer is not actually the one who's doing it. Most of the farms are actually owned by companies that lease.
Down there, they are too.
Everywhere, yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere's major big farm.
I mean, mostly. You have like some small here's. We have the privilege to do it. This is a rich country, to say the least. I mean, we're first world problems here.
Right.
But no, yeah, there's most of the farming, big agricultural farming that happens that is not here in the United States. It's still owned by a lot of the companies here, and there's only like I think there's like 5, and don't quote me on this because I'm not all into it, but I think there's only like 5 major like animal agriculture companies
Really?
in the world. Obviously one of them, Tyson is huge. I mean, they have so much power. It's a huge fucking company. But we won't talk too much about Tyson.
I never thought about that.
Truly scared of big companies like that. I would not talk shit too much about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, honestly.
Maybe they're not gonna, yeah.
You'd say they're not, and it's like a joke, but there's been a lot of activists who've been found dead.
Really? Well, yeah, I can see the.
Oh yeah.
I see that shit happens with those people trying to out those factory farms, like the.
Oh, it's illegal to out.
The ag laws.
It's illegal to fucking take pictures.
I know, it's
Why?
ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Why? If you came
Because
into
of
my
Tyson, that makes sense. You're right. They do have power. Ooh, that's pretty crazy power.
That's the only thing though. Like if you
Yeah.
came to my restaurant and you took pictures and you were like, "This is what Zaid is doing," I'd be like, "Cool, good for you." And
Unless you were doing something wrong.
Unless I was doing something wrong.
Right. Then you'd be like, no, you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah. I mean, you can take as
Right.
many pictures as you want. We have an open kitchen. That's the whole concept. Like, as a more positive life that you live, there's a lot of less things to hide.
That's what I'm saying. That's why
Period.
there's those ag laws, because they're doing some dirty shit that they don't want people to know about.
And that's the thing, though. And
Yeah.
we have to be aware of them. We have to take it at least a little seriously. I think we should definitely take it seriously, but we're not. I'm fully aware that not everyone is ready to really dive into it and talk about it and take it seriously. So at least just like question it.
Right.
At the very least, question it.
I think a lot of conscious people think about it and aren't happy with it and aren't cool with it. But a lot of
But
people
we don't change.
A lot of people, you're right, because it might not be a major enough issue for them to change. But
It's a
just
huge fucking issue. Huge fucking issue. Are we allowed to curse? I forgot.
say whatever the fuck you want.
All right. It's a huge issue. We have to talk about health. We have to talk about climate change. We talk about that. And then what do we have? Yeah, I mean, those are the biggest ones. Oh, animal rights. Never mind. Yeah. So 3 big ones. Animal rights, health, like our personal health as human beings, and the environment.
Okay. Say I wanted to just hunt and eat, and that's all I ate was food that I hunted.
Fine. I mean, do it, but that's the only thing
I mean, how cool is that acceptable? You know what I mean? I don't know. Would that? What do you think about that? If someone wanted to do that, like, are you cool with that or no? Not everybody can do that.
That's the thing. Not
But-
everybody can do that.
Whoever wants to can, but most people, just like I'm not choosing to be a vegan.
Yeah.
Other people can choose to hunt all their food,
Sure. I mean,
but they don't choose to.
they don't choose to. And we have to go back. So again, if you bring that up and you say, well, they don't choose to, then we have to go back again and say, well, environmental issues, health issues, and then animal rights issues.
Right, and I'm going to tell you, I think hunting your own food is the best way to get all those issues completed on the checklist.
But we won't do that.
I'm trying to do it.
And fine, you'll try to do it, but you still contribute to the others, and most people won't.
What I'm saying, what
because
if I'm slowly trying to work myself to where I can get off the other meat, and I only have a freezer full of stuff that I've hunted?
I mean,
Then
I
I'm
think
not.
as
Then
a
I'm.
personal
Then I'm not.
thing,
But then I'm not contributing to your whatever you're rallying against.
yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm mainly rallying or really trying to talk to people about the issues that are happening. And yeah, you would kind of be off, but would it actually happen for the years to come? Could everyone do it? No, because not everyone can hunt wherever they are. There's no, there's no hunting in places.
Right.
And then like, why? Why, if we don't need animal protein anymore, we can sustain everyone, at least in the States.
Because I prefer animal protein.
And that's fine. That's your preference, and that's,
but most
whatever.
people do. I mean,
yeah, no doubt.
It's delicious. It's easy. It's easy protein.
Yeah, it's easy protein, I guess. If
it's
that's
easy,
how you
dense, healthy protein.
Healthy is something.
I'm talking about a wild. I'm talking on the wild. I know. I'm not gonna sit here and say yes. Let's big pharma. Let's
Well, I mean, still, we don't consume or like break down.
What if I
protein.
turned you? What if you just started? How about I turn you into a hunter and you get all your meat that way?
Well, I wouldn't, only because, like, again, we don't consume and break down animal protein as well as we would with fruits and vegetables. We just don't.
Mm-hmm.
That's just scientifically, we are better in a vegan or vegetarian diet than an animal diet. And that's why, again, heart disease, cancer, and blood pressure, high blood pressure.
Yeah,
it's one of the your biggest killings in the United States. Period.
Okay, my argument with those studies on that is when they're saying these meat eaters have that shit, I don't think they're taking into account what they're eating with it, all the crap that they're eating alongside with it. Because if you look at like a vegan diet or a vegetarian diet, even those type of people tend to eat a lot healthier. They're not going to McDonald's. They're not having a lot of trans fats. They're not eating shit. They're usually eating a little healthier. So when you're comparing that to American that's a meat eater, you're not looking at all the fried crap he's eating, and the Oreos and the cookies and just
true.
Potato and just noodles and starch, just everything that goes with what they eat with meat.
Most of the studies though haven't been in a vegan point view. Most of the studies has just been a study, and they haven't been like, oh, well, vegan is better. No, they've just been, this is the study. America as a whole has an issue. Your number one killer is heart disease.
Right.
Second, it's blood. And then the third is going to be your cancers. So it's not from a vegan point of view or a vegetarian point of view or an animal rights point of view. It's just like, this is what it is. These are the studies.
Oh, yeah.
These are
unhealthy.
the ways. These are the things that get us there.
We're a first world country. We're going to be unhealthy.
Yeah. If we choose to.
But most people choose to, right? Because it's just easy.
I mean, the thing about choosing is that you have the choice to choose differently.
Okay. You do have the choice, but your choice is a lot harder than McDonald's.
Well, currently, yes. And I think...
so that's why we make that choice. It's just easier. People like easy things.
It is. And also, we're not informed.
Yeah.
We're super ignorant to things, as you just have said in a couple of the items that we discussed. We're ignorant to things, and I was ignorant to being vegan before I was. I mean, I turned right away when I first knew. I actually met my first vegan person or friend months before I went vegan myself, and I thought it was the funniest thing and the silliest shit, and it was so stupid, and I even probably made fun of her in a way that I didn't want to, but it just came off as that. I was just making fun of her personal choice of doing it because I didn't know any better. I was super ignorant to it, and it wasn't until I found out why that I was like, oh, I see why they're doing it. I can understand, and that's when I made my choice to go vegan instead of have a full meat diet.
I love vegetables. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate on vegans.
No, I fucking love vegetables. I don't think I like truly knew how much I enjoyed vegetables until I went vegan.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
You
shit.
were forced to.
There was a lot of, well, yeah, I wasn't forced to. I just chose to it. I made the choice of not eating a dead animal and just like picking a fucking fruit or like a vegetable and boiling or eating it and cooking it, and found different ways to do it. And now I have an article written about us every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's just like choosing a better way is always going to come. It's always going to have a better result, I think. It doesn't come as easy because I've had to fight for all that I have and all that I'm doing for a while now. It's not easy because it's hard to change someone's mindset that has been stuck on the same ideals that we've been since like the fucking Stone Ages. And it's not your fault or anyone's fault. It wasn't my fault at that time. I just didn't know enough. And this is a great way to start the conversation for people. Like, why? Why should we keep doing this? A good one, actually, one of my business partners, I told them months ago, I was like, you know what? He likes to be in the gym a lot. And I was like, you should watch Game Changers on Netflix. Just like watch it and take the information. Don't even like think about it like that I'm pushing you to consider being vegan, but just think about it. Think about the information that's there, and then just like go about your day. And maybe it hits a string and maybe it doesn't, but at least now you know. And if we go any further, you're just choosing that, and that's it.
That's on you.
And that's on you.
If you can live with that, live with it.
Yeah.
Sure.
If you can live with it, live with it. And I think it's very ignorant still to live with it, only because we're causing so much damage to the planet and we don't have a planet B. So that's a huge issue that we have.
You don't
right
think
now.
there'd be any issues with having to get rid of all the land for animals? I mean, what would you do with these animals? Just let them all die off? Or like what, you know, let everybody, I'm the new Donald Trump. I'm President Zaid. And I am making it.
Oh, that'd be a fucking world for everyone.
And I'm making it illegal to eat meat.
No.
And it's all. So, boom, what do you do? Just, I mean, what do you expect people to do? Just let these animals
live?
Right.
Yeah.
Where? How?
I mean, they're already living somewhere. So it's not like where, how. They're already living.
Until they die. And then we have to
Sure.
and then we got to take that land over and do big monocrop fields.
I mean, I don't think you can imagine how many like vegetables and fruits we can fit in one of these like huge animal agriculture farms. There's just tons and tons.
But you're still dealing with, I mean, these big farms are just there's not going to be happy vegan farms now. A big farm is still going to just transition into big vegans. And then they're going to make these giant monocrop fields where that's not great on the environment either.
Planting plants and
like
trees.
all like we
well,
have,
you know,
we have
vegetables
it now.
come from plants and trees, and
sure,
trees
but
give
it's
us
but it's
oxygen,
not it's not
clean
hundreds
water.
and it's not like hundreds and hundreds of acres of all just one crop.
No, we would diversify, but
You
I
would
mean,
think,
we've already.
but we don't do that now. I mean, look, if we have
We
thousands
don't
of acres
because we eat a lot of
corn.
meat. We do a lot of corn for animals.
Right.
Let's not get that wrong.
Oh no, for sure. That's what I'm saying.
We do a lot of soy for animals.
Right, but when we get rid of that, it's going to be replaced with another monocrop, and then you're going to have more of those.
But we get to choose, though. I mean, you at least choose and diversify what you're going to crop. And again, we have to remember trees, nuts, they're all vegetables and they come from fruits and blah, blah, blah. But they do a job. Besides just giving us fruits and vegetables, they do other jobs. I mean, trees give us air, clean our pollution, cleans water, gives us medicine. And we chop, like 40 football fields a minute of trees. 50% of all trees gone in the last 100 years.
They need to change that to hemp.
Change it to whatever, but the thing is, a lot of it is going to animal agriculture, which feeds people. I mean, are you seeing like the cycle where anything you say will come back to starting point, which is animal agriculture and all the bad things that happen with it? there's not a way around
But there's going to be
it.
bad things without it too. If you switched all that land to just straight vegan, I'm just saying those places where the animals are now, you're still going to come into the issues.
We wouldn't have that. Like, we wouldn't need that much room. That's the only thing. It's not going to be a
We
different
wouldn't
issue.
because what's the percentage of vegans, vegetarians? Let's say vegetarians because I'm sure it's bigger. We encompass vegans and vegetarians. What's the percentage?
Oh, I have no idea.
I know worldwide it's like 3%.
Yeah, it's tiny.
So now all of a sudden you have to take all of the land that we're using for us now mixed with meat. Now we're not eating meat. We have to feed 97% of the population with vegetables. You're going to have a lot of space.
8 cows per human in this world. So
Right,
yeah,
but
I think you're wrong. You're stuck on this like little point that it's not going to be an issue because we have so much. We have an abundance of
But I think
fields.
but we do. But do we have those fields for 97% more? If that's what 100% of people now have to eat that.
I'm pretty sure it's been.
Oh man, I'd love to see that because that's I don't
I'll look into it, but
I don't know that anyone would. I mean, that's
the statistics don't match, and the idea that you have don't
Mhm.
match. If we actually just switch, it would be just fine. Now, not everyone is going to be vegan because there's a lot of places in the world that you can't get vegetables.
Right.
There's a lot of places that are based on meat diets, and those are
Right.
just not going to change.
Native
period.
Americans were a lot like that. The Eskimos, I think, are.
The Eskimos are because they can't grow anything. They can
Right.
fish. So Native Americans did hunt, but again, it's not the same thing. They didn't have big farms.
No, they
They
did.
didn't have
No, I
big
don't. I think
agriculture.
I think
So-
a lot of them were carnivore only. I think they hardly ever ate fruits or vegetables unless they happened to run across it. But their main diet
People
was
that
meat.
move and migrated,
Right.
yes, not all of them. So we have to be.
Well, the Native Americans, that's what they were. They were all pretty. They weren't settling down and farming.
Not all of them.
Yeah, were there some? Yeah, maybe towards
People
later.
did like stay in one ground.
And farmed.
They had to.
I'd like to.
Historically, I mean, you have to make sense of it. If you moved along, yes,
I
you
thought
had
they just
to
always
eat
moved
meat.
and followed the meat.
No, there was an abundance of meat at that point. No one actually there was just animals everywhere. So you would it was still hard. I mean, you still have to go and
But I think it was
no
herds
tools,
they had to
with
follow. There weren't always buffalo just hanging around here in Kansas City.
Well, there weren't always buffaloes, but there were still more animals that there are now. Now we have
No, that's
cities,
not
we
true.
have buildings, we have all these things.
We have more animals now than when Christopher Columbus arrived.
I mean, yes, but that's a lot because of us.
It is exactly because of us. I'm talking wild animals, wild deer. There's more white-tailed deer now than there were when Columbus arrived.
I can't share any info on that one. I don't know, and I wonder.
No,
why.
there are.
No, I don't know
Because we
I can't.
manage them. We came really close to losing all the buffalo and a lot of wild game in this country because of market hunting.
Because we hunted them.
Right, we hunted.
You
them.
see how it
Well,
goes.
but
back
you
to
know
the
what
same
happened?
thing.
But then we said, hey, we're hunting too many of these. We have to stop this and start figuring out how we can manage these populations, or else we're going to be all out of these animals. So then that's when we said, hey, we can hunt, but only a certain amount, and you can't hunt over here because this population needs to get bigger. Give it a few years, then you guys can hunt here and do it here. And they did that with all these different species all over the country, and now we have tons of animals everywhere, more than there were when Columbus was here.
Because not a lot of people hunt anymore. Not as many hunt anymore. We don't have the
Right,
need.
but, well,
So,
because it was what happened was it was market hunting, so a lot of these people were shooting buffalo and just taking the tongue.
Yeah.
Because it was so what they did is they outlawed that. They said that you can't sell wild game anymore. If I go shoot a deer, I have to give you the meat. I can't sell it to you. I can't sell it to anybody. So that's why, because we were protecting the animals. And that's what hunting is all about, conservation. And hunting is about protecting animals. It's protecting the species.
I'll give you that for some reasons. And there are, even now, there are some places that had to hunt. There's this island that had to just massacre a ton of goats, and I can't bring the name up. I forgot.
Galapagos?
Was it?
Yeah, it was down there. It was somewhere in the
just
Galapagos, and they had to. There's a few islands that are like that because they devastate. They just eat everything.
Well, yeah, that was our fault too because we
Yeah.
brought them over.
They had the Judas goat.
Yes.
You know about that
I
one?
saw that whole thing.
Yeah.
And that was our fault too. So good for
Pirates'
us.
fault. Pirates'
Good
fault.
for us for doing, and like we caused this shit.
They had to.
We caused it.
We humans,
Yeah.
we're the apex predator.
I mean, that's a little like chip on your shoulder.
I mean, we're animals. We're the
we
top
are
animal.
animals.
We're the top animal.
Yeah. I mean, in the food chain, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
We're meant to eat meat.
We're not meant to eat meat.
We
That's
evolved.
wrong.
We evolved it from. I mean, we are meant to eat.
We're not meant to eat meat.
Why not?
No, scientifically, we're just not meant to eat meat. We're not meant to eat meat.
We evolved to eat meat.
And then we evolved to eat vegetables too. I mean,
We evolved to mix them.
kind of. Unless you evolved and stayed in the dark ages, if that's what you're saying. But I don't think so. I think you seem.
Has has our bodies changed since the Dark Ages?
Yeah, a ton.
How?
What do you mean?
I mean,
You
we're
think
still
evolution
I'm saying
happens,
Homo
though.
sapien.
But
We're
still,
still Homo sapiens.
And well, I
So
won't
we
get
haven't moved
into
on
much,
from Homo sapiens.
No, but it does evolve. Like everything evolves. Just because it
We're
looks
still
like
the same
same
species, though. If our
the
our species
we're not
evolved,
we don't have like a cross.
but
passing
we
of species.
evolved to this Homo sapien species from eating meat and because of eating meat.
That's
So
weird.
we are meant to eat meat because that's what we evolved to as a species.
I mean, debatable.
I
And
guess.
I won't get into it too much because it goes more into scientific stuff,
Okay.
and I'm just not a scientist.
Right. Me neither.
So there's really no point of like that going back and forth. But yeah, sure. If that's how we evolved that way, but it's not necessary anymore. And we're going to need to evolve pretty soon because of all the shit that we're doing to this world. I mean, just the planet itself, it's just not capable of handling so much. We have a doomsday clock, and it's getting pretty tight to midnight at this
A
point.
doomsday clock. We talking about global warming.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
just have to move in closer.
Yeah. That's going to do nothing.
Right.
But in all seriousness, we have to change something. One,
Got to change a lot of things, but
no, we can change. Yeah, we should change a ton of things,
Mhm.
but we should start with like the most immediate one, which is like just I don't know, switch our fucking vegetables, instead of meat. for,
that's
like,
gonna
a
fix
day.
it.
It's not gonna fix it, but it's definitely gonna help.
Think
for
so?
sure. I don't think so. It's scientists.
How do they like what?
What do you mean? They do tests and they do just run.
Aren't we gonna have to have more machines for? We're gonna have to have more machines,
More machines. For
more
what?
farming equipment, more
I
farms
mean,
out
we
there.
already tossed most of our vegetables and fruits, so no, I think we'll be fine. To be honest, if that's your point. That's
No,
the
I'm
least
looking
of
at
everyone's
unintended
worries.
consequences that maybe aren't thought about from a large scale. When you look at, if you think
Oh, I'm
75% of the population, just think 75% of the population switched. I mean, when you look at it, the small percentage that you guys are is at 3%, and then if you want to take that number to like say 75%, there's the infrastructure that's gonna need.
But
it's just
scientists
gonna-
have like thought about those. I mean, I to be honest, I think it would be very ignorant for us to say, well, have scientists thought about this? It's like, yeah, they have probably, most
maybe,
likely,
yeah.
and they have done research. So I think they're fine. I mean, that's why they're having all these proofs, and we have countries who are banking on it.
They had
and who are going
scientists work
green.
on Fukushima as well. I mean,
Well, for a
I
different
don't
reason.
always
You
say-
can't like put two and two together and be like,
no, I'm just saying I'm not
Fukushima
always
and,
gonna.
like,
I'm not
going
gonna
vegan.
just assume the scientists have thought about it. There's just unintended consequences. That's why that's what they're called. Sometimes things they just don't think or care about that. They're just, oh, this would be a perfect world if we just turned everybody into eating vegetables. Nothing would change. In fact, it would get better. And I'm saying I think there would be things that maybe you don't think about.
Well, I
looking
think
at the big
people
picture.
have to change. Being skeptical for a mostly positive thing would probably be the worst thing we could do.
Yeah.
To say, well, you got to think about everything, or else I'm not giving up meat for one day or like 3 days. It's like, well, how about you give
Is
it
that
a
what
try?
you want? Do you want people to give? Would that be a goal of yours? Is have somebody give up meat for 1 day a week or something like that?
Nah, man. If people could give up meat, that'd be great for everything, for every reason, health, environmental issues, and just like stop killing animals. Like if you can't go and hunt one and just like butcher the shit out of it, don't eat it. And like sell me on it, and sell me on that, like why you should be able to eat an animal if you can't even cut it up yourself. Sell me on that idea.
I'm there. I think anybody who eats meat, I think needs to participate in that process somehow. At least see how the sausage is made, you know?
Ooh, sausage. That's a funny one.
Yeah.
The sausages can be totally different. I've made some really funky sausages.
Yeah. I love a good sausage.
Sausage, man. Sausage can be gross. Sausage can be gross. And most of the sausage you buy is gross.
Yeah.
Most of it.
I don't mess with it too much. I got some really good venison breakfast sausage up there and some venison chorizo.
Venison and chorizo. Oh, how do you think that chorizo's made? Unless you made it.
Oh yeah, that does have some pork fat in it.
Well, never mind the pork fat, but how do you think it's made? Is it like store bought?
No, this is venison. You can't buy venison.
No, the chorizo.
Oh. Well, no, this is just turned into chorizo. Like
Got it. I thought you like mixed it with chorizo and.
Oh no!
Chorizo.
You made it, turned it into chorizo. Yeah, sorry.
I'm just saying, like, yeah, chorizo's gross. Like anything that you buy, it's been like the dead animal that they couldn't chop all the little pieces that were just brought in.
So good. I do love chorizo.
Ugh, man, no, it's horrible.
Yeah, it is, man. I know what I'm eating is horrible.
Yeah.
I'll eat a Slim Jim. I know that's probably the worst thing you could probably eat, but
I mean, I've ate one before a long time ago, and I didn't think about it twice because people told me that's the thing, and that's all. Not even that people tell you that's what you're supposed to do, is that the society is just like that now. There's no talk about it. You just follow society, and society does this, so you do that, and we don't question it too much. Which is funny that you question like going vegan or like growing crops when you don't question all the other stuff that much.
Like what?
Oh, all the things we've been talking about, just like
I question. I don't have to question. I know it's true. I know that factory farming is horrible for the environment.
Yeah.
I know cows fart and the methane gets in the air.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's like just the fart itself. It's like the shit and then the water pollution that goes to it. The pig farming is the worst, man. Look, pig farming. Have you ever been to a kitchen, like a chicken farm?
I've driven past them. They're awful.
You'll never if you can hold your breath in there without dying in like 15 minutes. If just even going into a farm with that many chickens, it fucking gross, man.
I tell you, man, I don't love the idea of it. I'm not sitting here saying I love the idea that we have that.
Then we have to change something about it. Something.
And I want to work to a place to where I don't have to get to that, where I can eat meat with just hunting it.
And that'd be great if that was.
I mean, that's my goal.
Everybody, but it's not. That's
but it's acceptable for me, and that's my change. I mean,
and that's fine.
If enough people did that, how big of a change would that be?
Oh well, we couldn't do it.
We could make a dent.
Yeah, small dent.
Why couldn't we make it?
It wouldn't be a change. It wouldn't be like a huge change.
You don't think so?
Because not every. Again, we talked about you can't hunt everywhere.
Every state you can hunt. You don't have to go. You don't have to go more than 35, 40 minutes from here to go hunt.
From here.
Okay. This is a major city.
And that's fine. Well, I don't want to say major, but
it's a metropolis.
Yeah.
It's a city, man.
It's like major.
In fact, every year they do lotteries to go hunt in like places like Swope Park and James A. Reed and like all these little parks inside the city parks. They shut it down, or they let hunters bow hunt.
And that's right. What I'm saying though, there might not be the privilege to hunt in every state. As far as you might not have the same animal to hunt. Like here, you could hunt a deer, but I don't know. I don't know if there's a lot of deer in Florida.
Yeah,
that's what I was just saying. There's not going to be as many.
Every state's got. Yeah, I see your point, but I think enough people. If I don't know what the population could be that could actually hunt and kill animals and sustain it, but I bet you it could make a small dent. That's what you want.
No, we want to change, not a dent. We want to change. And for the people that are coming like behind us, the newcomers, the little kids,
Right.
a better life for them. Fuck your life. Like, you've already lived it and you took a shit on it and did whatever. Let's not shit on their life.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing. Like, let's give them an actual future that looks good, and that we can erase all the fucking shit that we've done in the past. We've done a lot of bad shit. We've hopefully learned from it. Let's not give that to them.
Right. I think we're where we're at. I think we do continue to learn. Look where we've come from just 20, 30 years ago.
And then we
as
got
a society.
Trump. So I don't know if we've learned that much.
Yeah, I don't know much about Trump. I think a lot of people like some of his policies. They just don't like the guy.
I don't think he's that like great politically either. So
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I'd rather pay attention to other shit. It's just so infantile.
You said we've learned, but you can see a
you said earlier,
slave trade
exactly.
on YouTube. So we haven't learned that much.
Well, it's not going on here. Those people don't have the internet over there. Oh yeah,
I'm
actually
just
they
saying.
probably do.
Yeah,
that's a sad thing.
Everyone kind of has internet now.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in those countries that are trading slaves or selling slaves.
I mean, we do it here.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Not the way they're doing it over there. How are we doing it here? Prison?
No, I mean, sure, if you want to bring that up, that's a whole big topic that I didn't get involved in right now. But we have a huge sex traffic.
Oh my gosh,
here
you're right.
In
yeah,
Missouri
and
Kansas. So
it's
yeah, we
huge
still
here.
do it. So
Yeah.
we can't deny it and be like, oh no, we
God,
don't.
you're right.
And like, we're saints. No, we're not. Like, no, we're not. We're not changing that much. If
Yeah.
we were like, if we
Ugh.
didn't have
I
any of
forgot
those
about
issues,
that. You brought me down. I forgot about the
you know,
sex
like
trade.
if we didn't have any of those issues, I'd be like, you know what, you're right.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know much about that one, and I was like,
Oh, he didn't.
I don't know much about it.
Oh, did you see the autopsy come back on it?
No, like I didn't know, like I didn't pay attention too much to that whole
Oh.
case.
Oh my gosh. It's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah.
It's insane. He had a sex island. He had a sex island, and it was all like a lot of underage girls. Some were of age too. Oh.
Got it. I was talking about more of like his death.
Oh,
like,
okay,
I didn't
yeah,
go
well, yeah,
into
his
like
death.
the case of
They-
the
yeah,
death.
the-
I knew like he
Oh, yeah.
killed himself or like he
Was
hung
that
himself.
Michael?
Someone hung himself.
That autopsy guy, Michael Batten, he's like one of the best autopsy forensic dudes. He said, yeah, he's never seen, and the way his neck was broken, it was somebody breaking it, not from hanging himself. If they couldn't find the first time he tried to kill himself, they lost those videos. Oh, we recorded over it or something. We don't know what happened. And then this video, the suicide one too, we don't know where this video is.
Yeah.
There's so much, it's like so clear and obvious.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of wrong in this world. Obviously,
Yeah.
like just killing somebody it's not right. Like it's just not right. But like, have you heard of the, I don't know, made up strawberry farmer who did something wrong? Like, no, like if we choose a better life, there's better ways, there's better options.
Yeah.
Granted, we're only capable to choose for ourselves and not for everybody else. So if anything else happens out of our reach of power, can't control that.
That's all we can do, really, right? When it boils down
but we
to
can
it.
control like our choices and our ways. And if everybody did that, then it would definitely be a better world.
Yeah.
And it's there's so much vulnerability to it, to that mindset of like, oh, let me just be a better person. I think we're scared of that, of being vulnerable and saying, actually, I'd like a better life. I'd like a better world. I like a better partner. I like a better family member. But if we just gave into it, I mean, I'm working throughout my shit, but I mean, I like that. And I try to be a better person every time, in every way that I can. It goes, and that's why I said, like, I have some power as far as like, I can go out and do all these things, and I have to live by it because I want that. I want a better world for everybody, not just for myself. And I'm looking forward to like my nieces and nephews having a better world for them instead of like the shit that I've seen. So why not like put a little work into it?
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I I get these dudes like you, or these women in here like you that are just have that mindset where they just super good. Like you're just a super good person.
Man, we have so many wrongs. But yeah, I think
right.
We should
Look,
just try.
that's all you're saying. Like I see that you want like everything comes from a good place.
As it should.
Right. As it should.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
I've been brought down to like the most humble state this past year, and never want to go back there. I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
It was very negative, and yeah, that's why I'm just trying to do the best that I can and as much as I can.
Right.
Because, like I said, I've had a gun to my head once in my life, and that was as much as I want to have that happen again.
I wouldn't want that to happen.
I'm gonna have
that freaks people out.
I'm gonna work to not have that happen again.
Yeah.
And me doing good means maybe, hopefully, I'll have the power to choose not to be in that situation again. Again, I don't have the power over anybody else, but it gives me a better fucking fighting chance if I do good than if I do bad.
The more good things you do, hopefully, surround yourself with good people. I mean, it's all about surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals too, right?
Like-minded, and going and talking to not like-minded people and trying to change their views on things. And
is that what you're into?
That's what I'm into. That's
what,
that's my whole thing.
Going into place, like where are you going? Like what kind of places are you going into and trying to talk?
Well, I'm here right now. We're talking, trying to change minds. Just everywhere. I mean, just having the restaurant itself has been a big one. It was a coin toss for me. I wasn't sure if Kansas City was ready for it.
Right.
You know, I wasn't sure. But
you're lucky we're a hip town. We're becoming hip.
Good.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't even put it too much on like hip, but I think we're interested. At least we want to like. I think we're kind of just like scratching our heads and being like, really though, and at least giving it a chance. Even if you come one time, that's one time that you didn't have to like eat an animal,
right?
And like it's good. You're not gonna miss it. Like you're really not going to miss it. I thought it was gonna be like the most horrible thing.
Switching to being a vegan?
Yeah, switching to a vegan diet, and I didn't miss it. I haven't missed it. It's honestly been like totally fine. To be
How long you been doing it?
3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're
but
in.
I thought it was gonna be like automatically like, fuck, why did I do this? But instead it was the opposite. I got like so much, and just personally, I felt really good. First, I slept better, like a ton better. I can't like even tell you how good I was sleeping after that.
Really nice.
I had a lot of knee pain before, which was ridiculous because I was like 27, 28. But from like high school and most of my adultish life, I had knee pains or pain.
Knee pain, yeah.
Knee pain. Yeah. For some reason, I don't know what it was, but there were some times that I would like go down and they would lock and I couldn't stand up.
Oh my.
It was the craziest shit. And it happened regularly.
That's too young for that.
I mean, I don't know why it happened. I don't know anything about it, but never had it since.
Nice.
I used to have like my heart would skip a beat
whenever you see a hot chick.
Sometimes, but no. Just a hot chick. That's funny. I actually haven't heard chick in a while. That's too funny. No, but it would just skip a beat and it'd feel fucking horrible.
Really?
Like I'd feel like there was like air in my like that just like went in instead of like blood, and it would fucking freak me out because it would last for like a good 10 seconds. So almost like you took a deep breath of air and you didn't let it out. You just
gas
held
bubble
it in.
stuck or something.
It was fucking horrible.
Oh.
Haven't had it. And that was like a monthly thing that I got. At least once a month I felt that, and it was horrible. And that had been from maybe like middle school on. I've always felt that.
Wow.
I mean, for me,
did you ever mention it to anybody, or was that just one of those things? I'm a guy.
It was one of those things that I kind of live with.
Right.
and I didn't know any better.
Isn't that just a guy thing? Like, yeah, it's just, I'll just.
And it is. It's a lot of like masculinity,
Right?
and we try to mask it with masculinity, which is the dumbest shit ever.
Yeah, it is, right?
And man, we have such an issue with masculinity. Well, fuck, it's a big topic. We'll talk about it. But yeah, I think I like brought it up to my family, and they just like, because I didn't know exactly what it was, we were confused. So, and I still to this day I don't even know what it was. But if I probably went to a doctor, maybe we'd find out. Haven't had that issue since. I did go and get my blood work done just to make sure that I was good on a vegan diet, and I waited like a year, which I should have done it sooner.
Think so? I think
to be honest. Well, I think I should have done it beforehand.
Oh, you didn't do it beforehand. Okay.
Because have you had your blood work?
Yeah, I do it every year.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Little vitamin. They said the only thing was a little vitamin D deficient, so I take a vitamin D supplement.
Okay. So I think a lot of people should do that, especially because of like just heart disease and all the things that are killing us in this country. So they should fully be aware of their bodies and where they're at, and see if they need to lower their cholesterol, because that's a big one. But after a year, I got it done, and all my levels seemed good. I needed, of course, a little B12, so I take 2 B12 supplements a week, and that's pretty much it. Every other level was like fine.
Yeah.
So.
And that stuff went away. The knee pain went away. The little heart thingy went away.
Yeah, I haven't had those issues, which is great, because it was starting to become a big thing, big enough thing that I was worried about it, and now I'm talking about it.
Right.
So I'm glad I don't have those. I don't have those issues. I'm doing well, health wise. I don't get, and this is really funny. I hardly get sick. I don't think I've been down for like 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And
you're a healthy dude.
You know, this whole last year, everyone has gotten sick.
Yeah.
Like, has gotten the flu.
Yep.
We don't question who's vegan or not at the restaurant. We just don't. We don't let them talk about if they do consume animal products inside the shop. That's our big thing. Like, listen, if you do it, good for you. Don't talk about it here. It's a plant-based shop, so it'd be confusing for our customers to hear like our employees talking about meat when we're selling vegetables.
Right.
And it's like totally cool, chill. But a lot of my employees at some point got colds or flu symptoms, and they obviously went home. They didn't work, but it just kind of like went around.
I skipped you.
And yeah, I like to get my full 8 hours of sleep.
That's huge.
That's
amazing. Huge. That might be the number one thing right there.
I mean, it's a big one.
That's pretty big.
It's the biggest one, but I do like to, for the most part, keep healthy in a way. I think I do consume a little too many French fries. But that's just
how do you not eat a French fry?
I know.
How do you not
horrible.
eat one? You're around them all the time. How can you not?
We eat too many.
I've worked in some restaurants before, and it's all you can see all the best food you want, but it's always those French fries. You just want to it's always.
Well, and the beautiful thing about it is that we cut our fries, and I'm not selling the restaurant right now. Just like
Please
I'm just talking about like how it is. But we cut our fries in house, and we had a test with Cisco. They came over and they were like, here's our frozen fries and here's like some potatoes. So we did our potatoes, like our regular house cut potatoes compared to other frozen. You'll never eat a frozen fry if you eat it next to like a fresh French fry. It's ridiculous. The flavor itself, like we're kind of programmed to now by all these companies to taste and feel like, oh, this is a French fry, all these like frozen fries. But once you have them side to side, you're like, fuck, that was never a French fry.
I love fresh fries.
Yeah, they're just like great.
I got a fryer upstairs. I make it all the time. I prefer it.
Just fresh is best.
Five Guys fry. You probably
Five Guys is cool. I do eat Five Guys
fries are great.
Yeah, I did some Cajun fries.
Yeah,
sure.
right.
But that's pretty much all I eat at Five Guys.
All right. Yeah. And then another place that's got great fries that you can watch them do that in house is Arthur Bryant's.
I haven't been in. Never been in, actually, unfortunately. I never got the pleasure when I was eating meat. And then, now I just don't care.
Yeah. What do you think about? You must hate barbecue joints.
Nah, and I don't care about again, I love choices.
Yeah.
I don't applaud you for them. I don't applaud you for being a hunter. I don't applaud you for eating meat.
Sure.
But that's your choice.
Right.
And all I can do is tell you, hey, there are different ways. Here's some information. Talk to you about why you should consider eating less animals and more vegetables, only because it's good for you. And that's it. That's my job. Just to tell you, this is healthier way, and this is a content way to live life.
Mm-hmm.
But you can do whatever you want. I'm not gonna live it for you. I sleep just fine. Let me tell you,
8 hours.
fucking sleep fine.
That's pretty damn good. I wish I could sleep 8 hours. I got such a jacked up sleep schedule, just because I bring it upon myself. That's my own issue.
I mean, I bring my own schedule, but yeah, no, I make time for that because I know if I don't have that, I won't work well.
Right.
I mean, I already work. Currently I work a little less, but I'm still around 6 days a week.
Are you in the restaurant every day working?
Yeah, pretty much 6 days a week.
You cook?
Not anymore.
Okay.
I do cook every now and then, but I have my staff fully, trained, and I just kind of overwatch. And
So people go up there, they're going to see you?
most of the time.
Yeah?
Yeah, unfortunately. I can't say, yeah, it's I don't want to fucking work 6 days a week. That's not my job.
Oh,
That's not my
yeah,
plan.
yeah, okay.
No one does. No one really wants to work 6 days a week.
Yeah, you're right.
There is a good quote by poet and he said something about I know you deserve a 6-month vacation 2 times a year, and I'm like, yeah, I do actually.
Yeah,
we all do.
that would be it. That's do what you do. Do what you do for a passion.
But we do need breaks. So my dream goal would be to work 3 days a week, and that's it. I already worked my ass off to build this restaurant. I don't need to work there every day.
That's one of the hardest businesses to do.
Yeah,
is doing a restaurant.
90% of us close on the first year, right? And then 80% of whatever was left close on the second year.
Oh my, really?
Yeah. It's still pretty high. That's
super high.
Just because you get off the first year doesn't mean you're fucking
all right.
staying
We're
around.
there.
No, yeah. It's still super high. So 80% of 10% makes it through the second year, and then it goes down. If you make it through the third year, it goes down dramatically. I think it's 30% or something like that.
That's
which is good, but at that point you're 30% of the original 7% or whatever. So
how long is this? Do you call because you used to have a one in Brookside?
I used to have a little coffee shop test kitchen in Brookside.
Okay, and so now you're in the Crossroads. How long has that been there officially?
Officially, we've been open for 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got 6 more months to go to get over that 90%.
And I'm fully aware of that. So we are threading carefully and making sure that we keep quality. I mean, quality is the best thing you can work on. I'm a perfectionist, and my employees will know this. I mean, every little thing I get after.
Yeah.
Just because it has to be. And we're trying to convince Meat Town, barbecue
Right.
town.
Yeah. This is Kansas City. This is
to
barbecue. Yeah.
Yeah. We need to convince people that this is a viable option, that that it's worth your money. And
you're in the right spot for it. I mean, the Crossroads is you're going to find more of those people that are willing to go that route.
I mean, yes, you could say that, and then you could also not say that because there's only 2 vegetarian or vegan restaurants in the Crossroads. So in statistics, yes and no.
Okay.
Because there's we did a little research project before we opened. There was about 75 restaurants serving burgers within the Crossroads.
75?
Yeah, serving burgers.
Right.
There was only about 4 restaurants out of those serving a vegetarian burger. and there was only 2 restaurants out of those serving a vegan burger. So statistically, you would say, oh yeah, there's a lot more people there, but no, there's a lot more restaurants feeding meat in the Crossroads than not.
I just meant the type of person that goes down there.
But that's what I mean.
Yeah.
You would think so.
Yeah, but they're not.
But we're actually
burgers.
catering to a whole different crowd.
Yeah.
But hopefully people are opening themselves to it. That's my biggest thing. Opening yourself to it. If we get you to skip a meal with meat on the plate 1 day a week.
Is that like
great?
Is that something you would like? Do you want listeners to commit to 1 week, one meatless Monday or something like that?
No, that's too little, man. Commit to like more.
Well, you got to start somewhere, man.
Start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere.
Well, you're asking me my personal opinion.
Right.
No.
Start with what? Start with what? You got to start with somewhere. If you're at, I don't know. I think that's hard to do for some people. Be once a week.
I think the mental part is the hardest thing, because when I did it, I just switched overnight pretty much, and I didn't have like this breakdown. Now I'm not like everybody, and not everyone's like me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely a very unique, weird person in my own ways. So I wouldn't say like, yeah, everyone can do it, but everyone can do it. It's definitely not impossible.
If I did it, you can do it. It's
definitely not impossible.
Right.
I went again. I have to go back. I went from doing everything in the kitchen to being a butcher. So yeah, if I can do it, anyone can do it. I used to love meat. I used to cut meat. I used to cut pork.
Okay. I understand that aspect, but yeah, I mean, you do have to get the education out there, because I mean, how much more do you spend on groceries than you used to when you spent it on meat?
Oh, not at all. You know, the first time.
Is it cheaper? Because
so much cheaper.
Really?
So much cheaper. Like hands down, so much cheaper. I'm not even trying to be like drastic or sell you on the idea just because of it, but it's so much cheaper. I went out that first like week. I was like, fuck it, I'm not eating all of this, and I like gave all my food out to everybody, and I went out to buy groceries that first time. I filled up like I brought so many vegetables because I was like, I want to play around with all this shit, because I've never really thought about playing around with vegetables, and I was like, now I'm gonna have to.
Right.
So I better get good at it.
You were already a cook? Were you already a cook or no?
I've always been kind of like into cooking,
right?
But like
not trained or anything.
Just house cooking. Yeah.
Okay.
Not trained. I've never been trained.
Okay.
And at that point, I was not a chef for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least a professional chef.
Mm-hmm.
So I filled up my whole fridge, like every little crack in it. And I was surprised because I spent like $68, maybe $70. And I filled up a whole fridge, like full of things that I was like, damn, where am I going to put this now? So it was just like an eye opener of like, fuck, you can definitely do this in a lot cheaper way. But when we see like a burger for $1,
right,
then we're like, well, fucking no, that makes more sense, because I don't have to cook it. I don't have to. But if you think about it, you can get a lot more for your money, like bang for your buck, if you buy vegetables and then cook them at home. Now, for a lot of people, it's not an opportunity or like accessible to do that, because a lot of people work a lot, and I get it.
Right.
Like I've done it.
Long day, kids, whatever.
But if we want to think about like being healthier, again, I haven't been sick, really, really sick in a minute, and I haven't gone to the doctor. So if you start to put all these little things into the equation, you're like, well, it kind of fucking makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I could do this, and it could be better for us.
Yeah.
And
it's a lifestyle change, though. It's a lot. It's
is
hard to make people change a complete 180 and do an actual lifestyle change. You want something more to drink? You good?
No, I'm good. But yeah, no, I totally get it, especially without the information, with the right information,
right,
and the right way to like push that information to them, to give that information to them.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's so drastic, it's gonna take a minute. It's gonna take a minute to people like to get a little soft and feel that change is possible. But I hope that we're doing that. We have a lot of faux meats now, so if people really don't want to lose that.
You guys got that?
Yeah. Kid you not, the Impossible Burger, like I made it, and chip on my shoulder, but not really. Humbly, it was the best. I've made some of the best burgers that I ever had, period, like in my lifetime. The Impossible Burger was delicious. Now, we don't serve the Impossible at the shop because it does have some ingredients that we're like, maybe not here. It's not for us.
It's a lot of oil, isn't it?
It does have a lot of oil, but so this animal has fat soil, so it's not like
Don't qualify it. It's got a lot of oil. It's not great for you.
It's got
Right?
does meat. So
Right.
Yeah, so I'm not saying it's not a healthy option, and it's meant to be faux meat. It's not meant to be faux
Do
vegetable.
you eat and like faux meat?
Some of it, yeah, for
Really?
sure.
Okay.
I don't consume it on a daily basis, but I'm okay with it. Like, I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm still not eating an animal, which I'm like, high five for me.
Sure.
And I think it's a great start for people.
Okay.
Like, I already went through that
part of
step.
that baby step.
Yeah. I already went through that step, and I'm
Mhm.
okay with eating vegetables. So I'm like, if you need this, like, we got it for you. Like, we can make it happen. There's enough technology at this point that we can do it. And now we've been playing with a vegetarian diet or a vegan diet for so many years now that we're getting super creative about inventing new items, new styles of things. So we're in a good place to actually choose a vegan diet or a vegan lifestyle. We can live with it just totally fine.
Well, what we need is Pirate's Bone Burgers drive-thrus on every few corners.
So the main idea would be to get to that point.
I mean, wouldn't that be a huge way to make the change that you want?
No. Yeah, we want to. I just couldn't find a place that would do it.
Oh, I'm not saying now. That would definitely be something down the road. But
no. Yeah, but that was
everywhere.
my idea.
Oh, yeah?
I just didn't have the money for it.
Yeah.
Because accessibility is the main thing that we need to focus on. Accessibility for information, accessibility for food, and just make it easier for people because it's not easy at this point. So if we made it easy, we made it affordable, it can happen. And I'm willing to bet $100 that it will happen. It will happen no matter what. People are going to start switching slowly, but it's already happening. There's billions of dollars. Your richest people in the world are investing into these, full meat companies.
Yeah.
Because that's where the money is going. I mean, if we're really trying to change the environment and everything, because if we don't change it, everyone will suffer through it, even the rich. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. They
Without
just
the
suffer
poor,
through it comfortably.
Without the poor, there's no rich. That's the only
Right.
thing. You can't be rich without poor people. So if we all start to die off, there's not going to be a lot of reason to be rich. There's not going to be a lot of ways to be rich. So we still need rich people still need poor people to be rich. So we need to keep this world. And I'm not saying that's the main thing. Let's not keep the world for rich people. I'm just saying let's make changes.
Let's keep people poor.
Let's make changes and let's not keep people poor. Let's raise people up. Let's educate people. That's the biggest thing, and that's why we're poor, because we don't educate people. So let's educate people. I love one of the things that I love about the restaurant industry, and especially this one that I'm in now, is the amount of diversity that we have in the shop. It's one of the most beautiful things that I've seen, and we get so much diversity on any given day. Now, our main clientele are Caucasian folks, but for the most part, it's super diverse from different types of the world, from different corners of the world, which is truly amazing. I'm very happy for
Kansas
it.
City's great like that, right? We got a nice little melting pot here.
We have a nice little melting pot, but you don't see that much in restaurants. You see a lot of pockets.
Right.
You see groups of people.
Yeah.
And we're getting a little small circle where people can just be whoever they want and whatever they want. That's our main thing, to be super open-minded to everybody and anybody, because everyone's money is green and we should respect everyone as a whole. People are people, humans are humans, no matter where you come from, your religion, your gender, or your preference, that's whatever it is.
You got to eat.
You got to eat, and you're more than welcome and respected as an actual human being at the shop. And than anywhere else, or at least, and that's where I want to keep it. And I hope that people follow through it and start to be more open to minorities, because that's pretty much who's, you know, getting the short stick every turn.
Oh yeah,
are minorities. So if we can just like open doors to minorities, amazing.
heck yeah. How much is a meal?
So it's everything is a la carte.
Okay.
So we did it because, and everything's under $5. That's the biggest like punch.
Right.
I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to pull it off. That's why it was a twin cost. First, it's vegan. 2, everything's under $5. I wasn't 100% it was gonna work. It's working so far, and it makes it available and accessible for people in any life. And granted, it's not as cheap as I want it to be. While I was building this, I invested everything into it, literally every penny that I had, especially because one of the people who were going to invest with us pulled out the last minute. And then he got like really mad and sent us a little video about how mad he was because we brought it up into a presentation.
He got mad that you called him out for screwing you guys over.
Yeah. So
how dare you call me out for screwing you over?
Being white is so hard sometimes. That's funny. It brings me to like that male, like white male fragility. It was just like, it's not your fault that you're white. We just have to be aware that you're white and the privileges that come with it.
This dude's just a douchebag. I don't think it has anything to do with him being white.
Well, it did, only because it didn't affect him, and it affected me. Like, I put all my money because we were in it. I put all my money, then I couldn't get out of it, and all he had to do was like step back and was like, "Meh, I don't want this anymore."
Right,
like,
but if he was black,
cool.
would have been the same thing. He could have stepped back and be like, it wouldn't have been.
But he had the most amount of money.
It's a money thing. It sounds like he's just an asshole. Another asshole. You're dealing with too many assholes in your life. Cops and this guy. Who else you got around?
Well, it just happens to be, man. It just happens to be. But he was really upset about that we called him out. And the thing is, we weren't trying to call him out. It was just reality of it.
Yeah, can't be pissed off.
It's just what happened. It's just what happened.
Yeah.
He just had the privilege that even if he pulled out or even went in, he was just going to be fine because he had the money for it.
Right.
And I thought it'd be like the coolest thing. I was like, yeah, we'll have this like white person who can bring a lot of white people because he's very relevant. He's, you know, safe to be around. He's, you know, whatever. And that ended up like our worst nightmare. So, and I'm glad he pulled out, and I'll never work with this person again.
Yeah, I don't know why you would.
No,
yeah.
like I won't do any shows with him. Like nothing.
Who is this guy? Can you call him out?
No, you know, because it's too low. Okay. Like I already got so far without this person. Beautiful. Or we got so far without this person, me and my partner, but we have to suffer through it. Cause
who's your partner?
Lydia Palma is my partner.
Shout out to Lydia.
Yeah, she's great. But so we had to pull our money in. We went to the point where we had to go to the to get food pantries in order to eat. There was more than a couple. There was like a long 2-month stretch that we weren't making any money for 7 months because we were building this restaurant.
Wow. God, dude,
that's
crazy.
It was hard. It was.
Wow.
That's what I said. Like, this year has been the hardest year of my life. It's been the lowest year of my life.
You just have a vision and you're going after it. And you're super motivated for it.
I went for it, and I broke down a couple times.
Well, yeah, and how would you not?
I almost quit a couple times.
Right.
There was. I remember this one time, we had just finished the bar, like the line of the bar, and there was a friend that was helping us, and he kind of just like we lost track of him like 2-3 times throughout this process, and unfortunately, it was like in the process of making something, we weren't fully aware of how to make it. We weren't sure, like we would fuck it up or anything. So we were just waiting for our friend to like fill us in, and we just couldn't find him for like week or 2 weeks. So it just stretched everything. And at this point, we didn't have the bar top on. And I just like, I sat on the wall of the bar and I just fucking started crying. And I told Lydia, like, I don't think I can do this anymore. Like, I just broke down and I was like, I can't continue this. And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I just can't do this. Like, I can't do this. It was so much. Like, we were skipping meals, first of all. We would skip meals just to get by. The most amount of food sometimes we would have would be go into someone's house to eat. There was a couple of customers that brought us food, so shout out to them. But if it was up to us, or like within our means to eat, we would split a $1 burrito from Taco Bell, or sometimes we would get our own. But that's how bad it got. And for like 2 straight whole months, we had to like skip meals and eat like $1 a day, or like $2 burritos a day, like the whole day.
Damn. That's
was pretty bad.
Hard to work on with that little calories.
It was pretty bad. It got to the point where
How much weight did you lose? Jeez.
I lost some. I was about to give up one of my dogs because I wasn't able to feed him. He lost a ton of weight, and I just could not bear to like keep an eye, like just keep looking at him, because I couldn't feed him. And at this point, I wasn't even fully aware that I was in a full depression mode, like deep as depression. I've never had depression like this.
Sucks.
Well, I wasn't aware of it.
Yeah.
I was just in it at that point. So I blinked an eye. We signed paper, and I was like scared as shit because I knew something like this was going to happen. But I signed lease, and I was in depression soon after that, and I didn't know. So it was horrible. It got to the point where like my car was going to be taken away. I didn't have enough money for like
a little bit more.
I didn't have any just enough money for everything.
Yeah.
Enough money to live, enough money to like drive the car. I drove my car without insurance for a minute, and then I got penalized by my new insurance company for that.
Oh, they can do that?
Yeah, I didn't know that. I was like,
wow. What? Why? For what? They weren't insuring you when you weren't insured. Well, it's none of their business. What do they care? Well, sorry, man. I don't want to go off that.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. There was just so many like negative things happening all at once, and I couldn't control any of them because I had put myself in this position, and I had already lost everything. Everything was invested in this. So it wasn't like I was going to pull out and have a second choice, because I didn't have a second choice.
Wow.
So we worked our ass off for 7 years, day and night. Like literally we'd meet like 9 a.m. and we go to like 10 p.m., 11 p.m. just working day and night, because we're not builders. We have built before.
So you did all the build?
We did everything.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was like learning and building at the same time, and doing it fucking slow because we didn't know what we were doing.
YouTube and stuff?
Yeah, we would YouTube some stuff. I mean, we have like the basic amount of knowledge around building, because we have built before. We've done 2 now that we like facade build to like places.
Right.
This one was like build. Like we had to build the bar that had to be sustained, and like we had to do it right.
Damn. A lot of it was to save money, or is it?
Well,
that you
not even save money. We
it?
just didn't have the money. That's the thing. We invested everything up front, so we didn't have the money to do anything else. So a lot of the probably like 90 to 99% of the things we built was from like used material.
Nice.
Because we couldn't buy.
Right.
So we went out to Restore Habitat, or like people just gave us. One of the friends that was lost a couple times, he gave us a lot, like a ton of the material that we needed. He let us have tools. Fucking bless his heart. Like not even in a Midwestern, like, bless his fucking heart, because he gave us a ton of hours. He gave us a ton of materials and just like equipment to use to build this restaurant. And without him, I don't think it would have been possible for us to be open.
Dude, this is a crazy story.
It was fucking nuts. I met a good friend now. I won't name him. But anyways, I met a good friend. He was homeless at that time. I learned a lot just by being around him. Soon after we met, I kept on referring to him as homeless. And soon after, he asked me to refer to him as in transition. And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, I'm sorry. Like, I can see how that's a difference. Because just saying homeless, you're like, that guy's homeless, and that's all he is.
Okay, yeah. Don't assume
and then
that,
in transition, I was like, oh, shit, you are trying. Yeah, you are in transition. You're trying to be somewhere else, not homeless. So I respect that. And I try to bring that mindset every time I meet someone who is homeless at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, yeah, hopefully they're in transition. And like, if I can do something, I give it out. If I can, I'll have stuff in my car. I try to get food for the most part for people who are out in the streets. So that's my main thing. And I feel fucking horrible. There was a person up here as soon as I exited the highway, and I didn't have anything. I don't carry much cash, to be honest, at all. I just deposit it most of the time.
Right.
So I just feel horrible because I know I was really close to it, like fucking close to it. And that enough was a tremendous life change that I can't imagine myself being homeless, like literally homeless. And I can't imagine how hard that's got to be on like a human being. It's a ridiculous amount of pressure and just negativity. So I give it up to them, and there's some strong ass fucking people for trying to change their life, or like just even being outside in the cold. It's fucking cold in Kansas City.
Yeah,
you know, we run and we complain about running to the car. These fucking people are out there all day, and then it's kind of hard when you're like, here's $2. It's like, what are they gonna buy with $2? And I get it. You can say like, well, a lot of them are addicts or this, and I'd say, yeah, they can be.
Go get your fix then.
But I was like, can you imagine being homeless and like being super healthy? No.
Right.
No, you can't. You can't. You can't.
Yeah.
It's a system.
Dollar burgers and dollar chicken.
It's a system. Yeah. So, I give it out to them, man. My heart goes out to everyone who's struggling, because I've definitely struggled this year and throughout the years, but definitely this year. I give it out to everyone who's struggling. If you have any mental issues, definitely like reach out to people. It's hard. Yeah. It's hard. I didn't reach out to anybody, so I know how hard it is. This was probably this was the second time that I had the thought of suicide. So, and I get it. You don't want to reach out. You don't want to bother people with your issues.
Right.
I didn't want to reach out to anybody. And a lot of people,
you don't want to burden anybody.
You don't want to burden anybody.
At least that's what you think.
It's a pride. It's a pride thing. It's, you know, it's that
or it's a self-loathing thing. Loathing thing. It's like, oh, you wouldn't want to help me anyways, or.
But you know what? People do. That's the thing.
But that's when people you're in that. I've been in the
so
same.
Bad. Yeah, it's so bad. People do want to help you. Especially if you're like if you're trying to be a good person or trying to do good things and you get stuck in this, man, there's so many people that are willing to help you.
Right.
But I think people also have to remember that when you're in depression, you don't want to reach out. You don't want to burden people. So it's also,
you actually have to force them to be able to help them.
Yeah.
I have to force myself to help you.
It's also up to us to help somebody else.
Right.
It's not going to be easy. Same thing with like people who are homeless. It's not easy to give like pocket change. It's not give them food. But help them out. Reach out. Don't ignore them. Don't look the other way while you're waiting. Make a conversation. Even that conversation that you make with the person who's outside in the street,
make them smile.
may change their 5 fucking minutes or 5 seconds that you're with them. We are all humans, therefore we still like have the same needs. So the need of like talking to somebody and feeling like an actual person. When you take the humanity out of somebody, they're just things. I mean, they're just things, and we almost start to believe that we're just a thing that could just be tossed away, and that nothing will change and nothing will care.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to let them know that they're not things, that they are people, and that they're in a bad situation, but fingers crossed, someone else comes into their life and changes them, or even themselves change, or maybe just time itself changes. So yeah, reach out to people who might not be in your circle. Don't think that they're trying to avoid you. I had a lot of friends who thought I was trying to avoid them. I wasn't. I was just depressed, and I didn't want to go out because I didn't even know I was depressed until a certain amount of time. Then I really found out. I was like, fuck, I've been depressed all this time.
It's weird. That's a weird one. Depression's a weird one.
It's a really weird one. It really fucked with me. Since it was the first time that I've been that way.
Onset depression, I think they call that.
I had no idea what it was like, and now I know, and I'm like, oh shit,
I gotta change.
Really
yeah.
So I've been working.
Really opened your eyes, right?
Oh yeah. But it happened, and it makes sense how it happened, when it happened, and everything. Like if we start to point it out, it happened as soon as I signed lease. I was super in debt, and then I started to skip meals. I started to be less healthy. I started to eat less. I started to have less friendships because I was more stuck into the depression and the building of the thing, the restaurant. So you can see the pattern. You can see how someone can get to that point. It's really fucking easy to get to that point. So just unfortunately, we have to be open about these topics, so it's less taboo. We have to accept that males and all your alpha males with all their strong thoughts and bodies and everything still have feelings, and we have to be like vulnerable to admit that we've been in there, and that we wouldn't want anyone to get to that point, because man, it fucking sucks. It's a horrible state of mind.
Yeah, I think there's kind of I know you got to go. I could talk to you all day. Do you need to wrap it up soon? I don't know what time it is. I know you got kind of a time crunch.
Let me check real quick. I got a little bit. We got like 20, 30 minutes.
Sure. Okay. I think it's kind of like a double-edged sword with kind of social media right now. Social media is causing a lot of depression, especially with young girls. But there's also the other side where there are people that are speaking up on it. Do you know who Charlemagne the God is?
No.
He hosts a radio show, it's like a hip hop radio show. It's really, really big. He's just a brilliant dude. And he's big thing is mental health awareness, and he's like a tough black dude, and it's not like it's spoken even less of in the black community about depression and that stuff. So he's really just all the time posting stuff on social media about anxiety and depression, and hey, it's a real thing, get help. And just I think that's one of the good things that we're getting. Like I said, it's a double-edged sword with social media. It's causing a lot of it, but at least it's also getting a lot of awareness out there, and just it's letting people know, letting men know, like, hey, it happens to real dudes.
Yeah, it's a form of communication, and one of the biggest thing is that masculinity. We have to lose it. We just have to lose the shield.
Sure.
That we're tough and that nothing can happen to us, because well, I wasn't like at my prime. I think I still I'm right there, and it might stretch. I might be a bigger prime in a couple years, but I was just coming off being rated like Rising Star Chef in Kansas City to not eating chef in Kansas City.
Wow.
So it can happen.
Yeah.
And you won't know how it happens or when it happens. It just happens. So we just have to be aware that it happens to everybody. And fucking be kind to people. Right. Be kind to people and just take advantage of the people around you. That's the main thing. Like, we're going back to positivity. Like, just be nice to people. Be nice to yourself. Know that your struggle.
Oh, that's the tough one. That's the key one there that you almost skipped over. Is be nice to yourself.
Oh, you gotta be nice to yourself.
That's the tough
man.
one.
You
a lot
gotta
of
love yourself. Because I think we want to love everybody, and we're like, oh no, love here, love there, and then we're like, well, we're running out of love. Right. So we have to, and that's one of the ways we are easily, triggered into these like depression states when we don't love ourselves enough to like snap out of it or like see ourselves going into it. Because I was just loving everything that was happening around me, or not loving, but putting all my thoughts and effort into everything that was around me except for myself.
Right.
And that's how I got there. But now I understand. Like, now that I lived through it, I'm like, okay, I get it. Try not to do that again.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah.
How amazing is it though that you've gone through that and now you get to see like your dream coming true. Like you're going into the place that you built. You know, you're cooking the food that, you know, these people want to eat. Like, is that just really kind of surreal? Is that like really, really cool right now? Are you able to kind of look at it like that yet?
It's nice.
Or is
it's really nice. I think I'm looking at it more of like, I'm glad I got out of that mentality. Yeah. That's my biggest thing. I'm just like, and I'm still like dealing with it.
Sure.
I still get some bad days. So I'm just fresh off. I think about a month ago, I really caught myself and I started working on myself. Nice. So it wasn't like that long ago.
That's good that you learned that from the first time though.
Yeah. You know what opened my eyes and like I was like, oh fuck. I bought not a flood lamp, but just like a night light that was going to go outside, and it was solar powered, and I bought it at Costco before I started, like almost a year ago. I think right before I closed the other shop in Brookside, and I was like, I'll put it outside. I'll put it in my carport because I had some stuff stolen. I was like, I'm just going to put that in there. The light that I had in there had broken. And then just listen to those things. It had broken. In my mind, it had broken. And I had some stuff stolen from there. So I bought this new light. It was solar power. I'll never have a fucking issue with it. And it'll just light up every time someone comes into the carport because I don't have any doors. Okay. This was almost a year ago. We started working on the space, went into depression, never opened it until about a month ago. I got it out of the box. I had one of these days that I was like mentally clear-ish. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. It's been about a year. I need to open this. I didn't even open the fucking box.
That's so funny what depression can do to you.
Because I thought it was the hardest shit. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to put this up.
Yeah.
And I had just built the restaurant.
Right. That's so funny.
Like I had just done a lot of work.
You can't figure out a light.
But that's how depression works. Right. That's how it gets you. So I opened the box. And there was no wiring. All I had to do was plug it in.
Right.
And I was like, holy fuck. Like that was like a big light switch. And I was like, fuck, that's how bad I was.
Right.
And it was like really hurtful to know that it was that bad that all I had to do was plug in the like solar light thing to the light. And that was all I had to do. And I was like, oh shit. So anyways, I put it up. I ended up finding out that the broken light wasn't even broken. It was just a light bulb that went out.
Wow, and that's funny.
It's really, really bad. And nothing funny about it. And I get what you're laughing. Yeah. But yeah, there was nothing funny about it because I found out.
Well, like, I know the same thing.
Bad, yeah. That's how bad I was. I couldn't change a fucking light bulb.
Yep.
So
some people don't understand that, and you can't. It's hard to understand unless you've gone through it.
Fuck.
But it's weird. It's a weird state of mind to be trapped into. It was
such a weird because I couldn't see myself doing that now.
Right.
You know, if I see a light bulb that's
out, unscrew it and put the new one in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how easy it is.
Yep.
But man, depression gets you, and that was my first like example of it. Never want to do that again.
Don't do it.
And I have the greatest not sorrow, but almost like the biggest love for people who have gone through it and came out on like alive.
Right.
So like if anyone's listening, definitely like high five to you. Like it's tough. Definitely know it now. I didn't know him back then, but I know it now. So yeah, definitely high five to you and keep working at it.
Nice. I'm going to switch gears for one second. I was thinking about this earlier, but I didn't want to get you off of it. Have you looked into or know anything about lab created meat?
Yeah, I know a little bit, or like I've heard and seen a little bit about it.
They've done it now.
Yes,
It's not
it's
cheap.
possible.
It's not cheap yet.
It's not cheap, yeah, and they're requiring billions of dollars to continue the research into like how to produce it, mass produce it. Now, the only thing is, why? For the meat, I guess.
I mean, I don't know, man.
Like,
I'm not a scientist. I know there's.
No, I know.
I just know there's some, meat, a good source of protein and iron, and.
But we have a good source of protein and so many other things
But
that are better.
But again, convenience and just, I'd rather eat this little 1 pound steak than have to make a blender full of veggies and nuts.
True.
And
I
it's just,
I
it's
don't
just
know
more
if you have to
variety.
do
Like
a full-
variety is the spice of life. You know what I mean? Like,
There's more variety of vegetables and fruits and spices than there are meats.
but I can have right. But
So-
but just because I eat meat doesn't mean you don't eat the other stuff. This is just more variety. And now it's lab
but
created.
There's no variety. There's not a lot of variety of it.
Why not? What do you mean? There's plenty of variety of meat.
Not as many as vegetables and fruits. You can't.
No,
say
of
that.
course
Yeah,
not.
yeah. There you go.
Of course not.
So there's
but
not that
I
much
don't have to
variety.
separate them. I can have that wide variety of. I can have an arugula salad and a T-bone steak tonight. Fake lab created T-bone steak tonight. And tomorrow I'll have, I don't know,
I just don't
baby
get
spinach
it.
and some lab created chicken.
I mean, I
Dude,
hope
fried
you-
chicken's amazing.
I
A
just hope you
steak
don't
with
eat.
some blue cheese, rare.
I mean,
It's
if,
good.
If your idea of like eating
Barbecue?
vegetables is like a kale salad, oh man.
No, I like. I'm just off the top of my head. I'm thinking something to pair with my steak.
But see how different it is. You're thinking about a salad. I'm thinking about like a meal, like a vegetable meal, like a vegetable based meal that's like it's got a bunch of flavor instead of like a salad with the dressing.
I'll eat anything. I love to eat food.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like the mentality of it. There's
Yeah.
a difference,
Sure.
and that's all we have to change is the mentality of it.
Okay.
Because right now you're thinking, yeah, vegetables, and you're thinking like an apple.
I'm thinking smoothies and
a smoothie.
salads and.
I don't know if I don't drink that many smoothies, to be honest. I just consume all of them as like a food and vegetables, and that's why we created the burgers, because it's very close to what we're thinking right now, or like our mentality. We're thinking burgers, and it's America's favorite food is burgers and fries. So we
pretty
hit that
American,
one.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Pretty
very.
American.
It's only American. Yeah, that's pretty much the American staple. It's a burger and fries.
Yeah.
It was invented here, and it's
It's pretty damn
much.
good.
I fucking love it.
I love it too.
I eat them 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And I haven't gotten tired of it, which is really cool. But yeah, you can do a bunch of different takes on vegetables and blend them and mash them, or like cook them, steam them, different ways.
Yeah.
There's so many more varieties than you would in a meat.
Yeah. I guess maybe the other reason too why to think about going lab created is because you wouldn't have to transition 97% of the population off meat. You could say, here's our meat, and it's lab created instead of a dead animal.
But we have faux meat that's pretty good. Just saying. Now, the
Maybe.
only thing with the lab created would be like, what is it going to react the same way with our bodies, or is it going to change like something? It's something
Right.
different that's going to fuck up somehow.
Right, we don't know yet,
Like,
right?
That's the only thing we don't
know.
know. We know that vegetables don't.
Yeah.
You know what causes viruses and spreads, all these plagues around the world? Not vegetables.
Salmonella.
Well, yeah. But like the biggest viruses in the world come from animals, from
Yeah.
animal meat. So that's the only thing. Like the
I just think-
coronavirus right now,
Sure.
it's coming from an animal meat.
Is that what they said? They said a koala, maybe?
well, it could be for whatever it might be, but
I
it's
heard
from an
at one
animal.
point I heard a koala. They were eating koala or something.
In China.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things on it, but it's a serious thing. I mean, they have just closed down cities.
Dude, I'm afraid of that shit. That's what scares me more than anything. I don't fear much. Like, I think the world could use a reset. I wouldn't mind a big meteor hitting us. I'm fine with that. But the virus, like the plagues, that shit
That's gonna
scares
be
me.
nuts. And the thing is, it's not a Hollywood thing.
Right.
It's super real. It's happening right now in different countries. And because we don't see it, it's that out of mind, out of sight.
Yeah.
kind of deal.
This one's pretty out there. I think a lot of people are at least aware of it.
They're aware of it, but I've talked to a lot of people who are like, it's somewhere else. It's not getting here. And it might not get here. We have the resources.
I think it is here.
Well, we have it here, but to like break out, we have the resources and it happened somewhere else. So we were able to know that it might get here. So we were prepared for it.
Right.
But where it happened, now, if we would have happened here without anyone noticing and knowing about it, it'd be a shitstorm in here. Like, in the States.
Yeah.
So
well,
like we're not taking
thankfully we're a free country.
we're not taking it as much as like as close to heart as like China is.
Oh, right.
Because it's happening there. So
Right now I'm like, please hurry up and find a cure or something for this. Like, hurry up before it goes everywhere. Like
I know, but this is a new one.
I know.
I mean, we had another one.
But we
not
have
so
new
long
ones. See,
ago.
the other people, a lot of people are arguing. That's why some people are saying, oh, don't worry about it, is because we had the swine flu. We had Zika virus, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, we have all these things, and they end up being nothing. And I think a lot of people are just like, this will be one of those things. In a few months, we're not going to hear about bird flu or whatever.
Well, it ended up not being nothing. A lot of people died. And
But it
a
wasn't
lot of
like this
those
big
things-
plague. Like,
But I mean, they have been big plagues.
there have been. But I'm saying a lot of people are making it. I think that's why they're shoving it off, is because we haven't had like that major. I mean, this one seems pretty big.
But no, there. I mean, if maybe in one time, but there is. I just saw it the other day. There's been more deaths by plagues, by animal products, by consuming animal products, than World War I and World War II combined.
We know it's got everybody, and we just got the highest number: mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes are.
That's the number
Fucking
one.
ridiculous.
That's the number one all time. That's got the number one slot is mosquitoes.
Wow, because they fly everywhere.
They fly everywhere and they carry shit.
Yeah,
And
you
they
know
just
how
put their
they
little
carry shit.
dirty ass little needle right in.
Well,
you.
that's the thing, though. They don't carry shit because they carry shit. They carry shit because they got from somewhere else into someone else, and then that someone else is someone else. So
or something.
there's
else,
a start.
whatever. Yeah.
there's a start. They just didn't were born with it. But, it just doesn't happen randomly.
No. Well,
so-
that's part of this crazy world we live on. That
Yeah.
shit's just it's an organism. It's just like us.
Kind of. I mean,
It's
we
an
could eat
organism, right?
vegetables. Just saying, it would lower.
Those
It would
mosquitoes
lower.
aren't gonna eat vegetables.
I mean, if
and
we
they're
don't
still-
have the diseases on us,
It's too late. You can't get rid of that shit. There's already these diseases that I don't think
on the
are-
mosquitoes, sure.
No, anything.
But it doesn't. It does not. It definitely does not harm us to prevent others to happen.
Oh.
Other like coronaviruses. So
Yeah.
just saying, just because
I'm saying
it's a new option doesn't mean it's a bad option. It's a better option than what we're doing.
What vegan?
Eating more vegetables, yeah,
Eating more vegetables?
definitely.
Well, I would say
It's not a lot of negatives to it.
right. I would say at least you should want people to start one day a week without meat.
Oh man, start one day a week.
Because
And
you're
then
happy if
2
they
days.
just
3
come to your
days.
restaurant and have one meal.
No, honestly, we'll be happy with what we have. Don't even come to my restaurant.
No, come.
Do it
Go.
yourself.
Nah, go.
No, I'm just saying, do it yourself. Do it for you. Do it for your future. Do it for your kids. Do it for everything else. Fuck my restaurant. Don't even think about it.
Right.
It's not a publicity stunt. I'm not here to sell you on the restaurant or the burgers.
Oh, I'm not saying that at all.
No, I'm just letting everybody else know. It's not about that. It's about a
I don't
bigger
think
picture.
I don't think anyone's listening this long thinks that this is all a scam to get people to buy.
Yeah,
Pirate Bone burgers.
Yeah. No. It's about the bigger picture. So
Yeah, for sure.
Do it for yourself.
Yeah.
And then just high five.
My biggest thing was I was just I didn't know if you were anti-hunting or not, and that was going to be my big discussion with you was hunting versus not hunting.
No,
type thing,
I'm
you know
not.
what I mean?
I'm not anti. I'm definitely anti races, and I'm anti
Anti what? Racist?
Anti-racist. Yeah, just
Oh.
I'm anti the negatives.
Sure.
For sure. Listen, if you want to go hunting's not my biggest issue. Our biggest issue is animal agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
That's our biggest issue, and that's what's changing the world. That's what is changing our diet and our diseases. So if you want to go hunting yourself, do it by all means. Now,
Right.
I'm going to tell you, maybe think about not doing it, but
I'm gonna tell you on your way home when you don't hit a deer, you can thank me. Listen, you
That'd
live
be
you
nice.
live around here. You go into
Never.
rural Iowa or something. Drive down one of those country roads at dusk. You got deer going all over the place. I mean, they kill a lot of people just by running into them. They kill people, cause accidents. They are a major a lot of negativities with overpopulating.
Overpopulated.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that's
I'll
hunter.
give you that
can
one.
thank hunters for that, and that cuts down on a lot of shit, a lot of diseases, a lot of it's great for
I don't know if that
Are you kidding me?
part is true.
Sure it is.
It doesn't cut down on diseases.
Lyme disease.
Oh, for the deer?
Mm-hmm. Well, no. A lot of people. There's a crazy number somewhere in Pennsylvania where like a very high percentage of people have Lyme disease because there's so many deer there, and the ticks get on these deer and they're everywhere. So if you eradicated a lot of those deer, you're gonna have less of those ticks and less Lyme disease.
In that one part of the country?
Everywhere.
I don't have too much experience, so I can't even comment on it. But
I'm just telling you, these are some of the benefits on why to hunt. It's not just for the meat.
No, yeah. And like I said, I'm not like totally against it.
Oh,
If
no, I know
we're,
you're not.
Like trying to underpopulate or like keep it from overpopulating. I'm not like all for it. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, go hunt, whatever.
But it's a very vital part of this nation is to is to control the population of all these animals from everything: ducks, bears, moose, elk, whatever.
And that's not our biggest issue. But yeah, and that's not our biggest issue. That's the thing.
It's a big issue. I mean, there's no biggest issue. I wouldn't say there's one big. I mean, there's all kinds of big issues. There's all kinds of big issues. That might be your biggest issue, but there's a lot of big issues that everything. This is why this world works, is because we're all working on these different issues, and just because.
Oh, I don't know if that's how this world works or why this world works.
Country,
I think that's how it doesn't work.
Well, that's how this country works so well, and why we have a lot of.
I don't know if it
why
works
we have
so well.
So much. It works pretty well as far as.
It works pretty well for some people.
For the nation as a whole, do you enjoy public land? Thank a hunter.
Well,
you enjoy seeing wild animals? Thank a hunter.
Thank a hunter for seeing wild animals.
Yeah,
I think animals would be wild without the hunter.
Maybe
they're
not
animals.
As
it's not
no,
like
there
the
would
hunter.
be. There would be,
Yeah,
but
so you can't say that. The hunter doesn't make the animal.
We make it an abundance, enough to where you're going to see them and where they're not going to get taken out, wiped out, or eradicated from moving in big farms or something, or big agriculture. That decimates a lot of habitat. And because of hunters, we have a lot of public land that's reserved for just that, for public use. Not just hunting, but just hiking and canoeing and lakes and stuff like that.
I think you have some good points and ideas. My only thing would be think about opening up that gap a little bit more, and not having it so short to think hunters or because of hunters.
Well, I guess
I would just that would be the only thing. I guess
what
I
would say
because
of hunters, we have a very large tax that we pay, and because of conservation, the biggest conservationists are hunters. We donate or attribute 99% of the money that goes into conservation for saving these animals, for saving this land. It's all it's not because of PETA. They're not doing anything like that. It's because we imposed an extra sales tax on hunters. Whenever you buy anything hunting related, there's an extra tax on that goes towards conservation. All your hunting licenses, all that stuff goes towards that stuff.
I'll have to look into it a little too much, but again, my biggest thing would be don't. It's a big world,
right?
Let's not assume that it's super small and then this one thing helps everything. Same thing with veganism, like I said.
Yeah.
It'll help a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It'll definitely help a lot. Everything, no, we would still have issues, but I mean it's 1/3 of global warming, so 1/3. Just by not eating animals would be great to knock out.
Sure.
It does more harm than all pollution from automobiles, airplanes, trains. So we can change things, and they're not going to change the world, but they are going to change a lot. And I think we should in the most positive way. Now the hunting thing, I'll do more research on it, and I'm interested to hear because I've not gotten into it. I've never been really involved in the hunting type. But I have seen some.
It's one of those things. If you're not into it, it's hard to get into.
Well,
you know what I mean. Like
I'm into learning.
Right.
So I'd love to understand,
Mm-hmm.
even if I don't believe in it. I'd love to understand, and that
Right.
way I would have an input on this conversation and say,
Sure.
yeah, for sure, or correct you and be like, no, that actually doesn't make sense.
Right.
But I can't. So I want to learn about everything and anything, and be more aware of
Mhm.
what's happening around me. That's the main thing. To be like more informed in order to make a better decision.
Right.
Yeah.
Informed decisions.
Informed decisions.
That's all
are
we
the
need.
best.
That's all of us. What we strive everyone to want and do. Right.
And we still do the opposite.
So. Right.
So we just have to. Just because we're informed doesn't mean we make the best decision.
That's a good point.
We still have to be better fucking people.
Right. Well, thankfully, we got people like you that are setting a great example.
Man, I hope.
You know, I mean,
I'm
you're
just doing
clearly
my
doing
best.
that. Yeah.
That's it.
And that's all you can do. And hopefully people follow suit. Maybe not become vegans, but at least see some of the amazing, great, positive things that you're doing.
That's
And just saying, hey, Zaid's a badass example of the way I want to live my life and think. And I think you're doing an awesome job with that.
Thank you. Yeah, that's all I can ask for. Like
Mhm.
for me to change, or to at least spark the curiosity of somebody. And it's really funny. It goes back to when Tupac died. He had a documentary out, and he's even like said it in a song. But it says, "I just want to be the spark to change."
Mm-hmm.
You know, the spark to change the world.
Yep.
He doesn't want to be the change, or like he doesn't think or wants to be the person who changes the world. He just wants to be the spark that changes the world. So if I can be the spark that changes someone's world, I don't mean the world, because that'd be like, it's too much fucking pressure. Yeah, who the fuck am I? But if I have changed anyone's viewpoint on something, man, I'm happy with that. It's not like I won't die happily just from that one. I want to do a lot more, but I'm happy that I'm doing something. If I can change my family around me, or at least make them think about it, and I made them think for the last 3 years. They've been waiting for me to change. For like the first 2 years, they were waiting for me to change back. And I was like, this is not happening, man.
And now you got a restaurant. You certainly can't change. And if you do, you got to be real secretive about it.
Yeah. No, I would not be able to. Not at this point. It's such a small town.
Smell like bacon this morning.
Yeah.
Oh, it must be that new faux bacon he's coming up with.
No, it's such a small town, and I'm super happy with like the decisions I've made in my life, personally now, and keep on growing and learning, and choosing obviously better people to hang around with, especially when it comes into business. But currently, pretty stoked about what we're doing. And we're just trying to keep on growing. So yeah, it'll be an interesting year. So far, I've been so like astonished on how much attention we've gotten. It's like I said, I think we gotten a review, or not a review, but like a printed article every 2 weeks.
Nice.
Every 2 weeks
That's
since
awesome.
we've been open.
That's so cool.
At least like 2 to 3 a month.
Wow.
Which is ridiculous.
Right.
I just saw we have
advertising.
We have one in the pitch this month. We've been in the pitch for like the past 2 months straight, like at least something on it, which is really cool. We have the front cover of the feast coming up this next month, and if we win, we're up in the like top, or like that thing for the feast where you vote.
Right.
We're nominated for a couple of like things, and we weren't nominated for burgers or diners, and I was like, no, let me write this in. So we're nominated for a couple things, and also nominated for best chef in KC.
Oh wow.
If I win that, and if I win that, I don't mean if we, because it's a team effort.
Right.
I didn't get here by myself, and I'm still not like by myself. You won't see me in the kitchen as much. So it's not like a me thing. Yeah, I came up with the idea and all the recipes and everything, but right now it's a we thing. So if we as a team, as a restaurant, win this, it'll be great. Because one, It'll open the door for people of color to be recognized as a higher level of food and accepted. Also, as a vegan shop in Kansas City,
Right.
like, it'd be fucking nuts
Right.
if we were able to do that. We might not, and that's cool. Like,
Just
I'm
getting
happy
nominated
with
is
it.
pretty dope.
Just getting nominated. We're opening the doors, and maybe
Mhm.
we spark, and someone's like, you know what? I actually never thought that would be a thing. Now it's a thing. Let me jump on it and see what I can come up with. I'm excited to see more people come into the vegan scene, more options, because it's only going to help. Competition is good, and I keep telling people competition is always good.
Right.
As long as you're in good competition,
Can't grow without competition.
grow with it. Yes. Don't let us slow down. I love competition. Put me next to anyone you want.
Nice.
I may not come up with it. I may lose on it, but it's gonna help me grow to that next level. So yeah, if you put me next to someone who's better than me, I'm happy with it.
Nice.
Because I'll learn something from it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, man, this was an awesome conversation. I could talk to you for another however many hours we've gone. Yeah, I'll give you this minute here, kind of, if you want to tell people how they can find you and all that good stuff. And
Oh, definitely. Search for us. We're on 20th and Main in the Crossroads. Pirates Bone Burgers. www.piratesboneburgers.com or Pirates Bone. We also have that. I need to buy pbb.com as well. And then find us on Instagram. All the social media is about Pirates Bone Burgers. And as well, I'm on social media on Instagram. Follow me as Plant-Based Pirate.
Yep.
Yeah.
This was awesome, man.
Hey, thank you
I
very much.
appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
It was amazing.
All right. Well, we're out of here, everybody. Thanks for listening. Bye.